Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochneck here. Norman Kochneck here from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochneck. A massive show today. Clearly, the main driving force for today's session is around, of course, the preview of the full match, the fifth test between India and England, which takes place this time tomorrow, where India and England will be fighting it out. The reality is that India are in front 2-1 in this series. So far, 4 matches with 1 draw. India are in the box seat, clearly. England have it all to do to actually salvage a draw in this series. The Untitled Trophy, I believe, is going to be in India's hands. I'm not certain of that. I'm still not sure whether England's got it or India's got it. And even Sumant Shastri is already predicting India will win the series 2-1 because of rain. This is the one time that India would be happy for rain to occur on the last days and won't be too concerned about the rain because they're in fact going to win the series. It puts enormous pressure on England, but that can also have detrimental effects on the attitude of the Indian players. I don't think they're going to give up. I think they're going to be foot on the throat. They want to make it. I always say the reality is, but that's the way you need to put it. Fair enough. Good comment. If England win, they will have the trophy. Okay, so if they draw the trophy, they will win it. Or no, not win it, but retain it. Rick Tech's also saying the 5th test may be abandoned due to COVID. Well, there's one thing for sure. Later in this year, the Afghanistan team playing against Australia in Hobart, which would have been the first of that kind, first time Afghanistan played there. Tim Paine's home city or home state, was quite a bit of importance on the match. Well, that looks like it will not go ahead now. That one-off test, which is a test series in one test, looks to be unlikely to go ahead. The stipulation of Cricket Australia quite clearly today, the media release was, because Afghanistan as in Taliban do not support their women cricketers and will not allow women to play cricket at that level, or probably any level. If that is the stance that Afghanistan and Taliban actually take, then there will be no involvement with Australia in that test series for the men. So that was women's being not able to play. They didn't say that for the men's in terms of Afghanistan, but that will preclude them from playing Australia in that test match. So that will effectively mean that Australia will go from the Gabba test, which they lost earlier this year, very early this year, back in January this year. The match they lost will be the one and only test match they'll be playing all year until the Ashes in December, which is quite a remarkable situation. You're looking at basically 10, close to 11 months of non-test matches being played. No test matches. They missed out on the South African series early in the year. There may have been a Bangladesh series in between, which didn't occur. They had obviously T20 and ODI series occur, which went abysmally. Now with the IPL now on twice, the first stage and now the second stage coming up in the next week or so. And of course, on top of that, you have the IPL. Sorry, the IPL, also the World Cup held in UAE. And that will roll straight into what would have been quarantine. And a lot of the Australian players would have missed out on the Afghanistan test anyway. So that will not be the case now because there'll be no test. And then move straight into preparation for the Ashes. If that goes ahead, which I would safely assume it will, crowd or no crowd, location or no location, it may well be all based in Queensland, Northern Territory or something if we continue to have the COVID problems we have at the moment. I don't think there'll be an issue with families. The England players will be able to bring their families, I'm pretty sure, at this stage. We're in lockdown still. I think we've reached 46% or something in New South Wales that are double vaccinated. I'm hoping to get 70% within the next, let's guess, month or so. And then they may start opening up situations a bit more, which will be obviously a very good result. What is your team for the 5th test? We'll talk about that in a minute, Sasha. I'm waiting for David Gravely to come on. He was involved, of course, with England and West Indies under 19. In fact, he had troubles getting in on the link. I'm not sure whether he's been able to succeed in doing that. I'll just see whether David... I'll just give David a message to see whether he's able to get on. Oops, I think I've hung up too early. Huh?
Hello.
Hi, David. Did you get the new link?
Still doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why that is.
I'll try. So let me try again.
No worries. I'll send you another link, but I'll send it to your Facebook if you like.
Just send it to. Yeah, do you want to send it to Facebook? That's fine.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Do it off my phone. So, but the link I'm trying to make work is the one that ends in RCY5ZYY7F9.
That's the wrong one. I sent you a new one just now.
Right, if you send that now, let's see if I can go.
I'll resend the new one, okay?
Right, I'll
Okay.
try some on another piece of equipment.
Okay,
Right,
all right.
you send the new one, and I'll try it first on my iPad and then on my computer.
Okay, no problems. Yeah, there's a link issue with that's definitely not the right one. So give me a second, guys. We'll just get this link sorted to have David Graveney. They're very much. You had the wrong link. That was the problem. You had definitely the wrong link. Yeah, so guys, it's been a fair few team announcements I noticed as well. For the South African side, I think even the Bangladesh side have been announced. They've all had their announcements occur. Yeah, what is the future for South African cricket? Afghanistan's cricket in the future under Taliban? Unless they give, well, the Australians have made the stance as to the lack of involvement with women and their non-acceptance of women and an international cricket side because of the fact they may be uncovered. That has been knocked on the head by the Taliban. I don't think they're going to back down on that one. So I think Afghanistan will be in deep threat because once Australia boycotts them, I'm assuming most other countries will do the same. Maybe some of the Muslim countries may not. I don't know. And the reality is that the ICC will have to make a call pretty soon internationally as well, where they may not be allowed into the ICC. They may have to review their situation. If that's the case, I'd imagine the Taliban will not relent, and they may have a situation where they may be out of Test cricket after just gaining the status, which is very, very sad indeed, isn't it? So very, very sad state of affairs that would be the case. Let's hope it's not the case at all. All right, so that's unfortunate. The Duplessis misses out the World Cup. He was in fine form for the CPL, yeah. And Norman, I heard the chat between two England cricketers from Brisbane at the first match together. Okay, what was that about? Taliban is disaster. Punjab, good part of the Ashwin is back and misses it. But we'll talk about that a bit more. We'll get an order. We'll talk about. We might bring together all the so-called IPL selections, or more so the World Cup selections. How are you, David? Can you hear me?
Norman.
How are you, David?
Now I got the right piece of equipment.
No problems. I did send you the wrong link initially, and then I quickly realised, and I don't think you saw that further email update. That's all right. That's my fault.
No problem. So
how are you?
Well, you're the pundit. You're the one who can predict Test match results. So after the
I did have to put that separate video on. You may have seen that.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Well, I mean, that was quite a turnaround, certainly from.
Well, actually, I tell you what it did do, which I hadn't factored in, which is the first time they revealed one of the reasons for Jadeja playing in front of Ashwin was him bowling over the wicket, roughed the ball up for reverse swing. So not only was a wicket-taking threat as a bowler in his own right, but also changed the shape of the condition of the ball, which Ashwin wouldn't have been able to do. So
pretty significant.
And that bit of reverse swing was enough to win the game, basically. So
yeah, it was. It's quite an interesting situation because the so-called Patowdy Trophy is apparently in England's hands. So effectively a drawn series will allow that trophy to be retained by England, I believe.
So it's an England versus India trophy then, Norman, is it?
Correct.
All right. Seems rather odd.
Yeah, well, this Patowdy is. I don't know a great deal about the man, but
he was an outstanding player. Sadly for him, got a bit like a Colin Milburn, actually, got involved in a car accident, which meant his sight was impaired, and had to bat in a very front-on basis, but still managed to survive. Very, very influential leader. Obviously came from an influential family in India. So yeah, no, he was a good player.
And did he have any relationship to England as far as cricket was concerned? Did he play?
Oh no, he played for Sussex, and I think he went to Oxford University.
Right. So that's the connection to England, and played, I imagine, some fair bit of cricket there.
Yeah. Oh no, he played for a while actually. Yeah, no.
Sorry?
He played for a while. I'm just looking him up actually.
Okay. No, he did. I knew he played for India, but his involvement with England, I don't think he played for England, but he may have played it.
No. There were sort of before him a few people who basically were Indian born but ended up playing for England.
Right. Yeah, there's some very famous players way back into the late 1800s, in fact.
Yeah.
So that's
Nawab Patowdy remains one of India's greatest ever captains. He assumed the role of captaincy when he was just 21 and led in 40 of the 46 Test matches he played in. That's what I understand. He was an exceptional leader.
Hence the trophy.
Yeah.
But at this point, England have that in their hands, so they can retain it by winning this last match. So certainly India are in the box seat, being 2-1 in front. And if
they're in the box seat for lots and lots of reasons, really. One, they're the better team, I think, overall.
Yeah.
They have shown great powers of togetherness, I think, more than anything else. They've had some setbacks, but that just seems to make them stronger. So, but I do see on the wires they've had yet another case within their support staff, which meant they've cancelled practice for today. Not that I don't think anybody needs any more practice. They play that often. So
yeah.
I don't know. What are the suggestions about changing the team, if any?
Well, as far as the players are concerned, none of the players are coming down are not being tested positive. So the fact that they're tested negative should allow them to play the match. That's what I'm hearing, but that may not be conclusive because if they've had that development you're describing, that may throw a cat amongst the pigeons. But because it's the last test, I don't know whether there's any dispensation there that they may let it run its course because they'll be, out of there. I'm not sure. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But if I'm aware, I think the players have still been, if you would argue, separated sufficiently. Because look, let's be honest. If Shastri was positive and some of the immediate staff were positive, then the whole team should have been in quarantine already. If that's the case.
Yeah, seems the arrangements around that book launch seem to have been pretty relaxed, I think.
Yeah, quite incredible.
Because they're suggesting that Tom Harrison was invited to it as well. So,
right.
But I suppose if he's not involved with the team, he can do whatever he likes, can't he? So.
I guess. But does that? I've heard, and I have no facts, but I believe there may have been a rumor that Kohli actually attended that as well. But I don't think that's true. I think it was purely the coach and some of the staff.
I would imagine they wouldn't have been as stupid to include playing staff.
No, he wouldn't have thought so. No. Anyway, so that's one thing. And as we haven't really talked, but yes, I'm going to argue it was my crystal ball selection because I didn't show it to camera, but I was glaring. No, it's mine, wasn't it? The fact is, it was quite a. I mean, I just love the way that you came out rather strongly and said that not only would England win, but win handsomely with 10 overs to spare. And on top of that, giving away that Ollie Pope would be hitting the winning runs when Ollie Pope didn't face enough balls to score any runs, really. The poor guy.
No, but with our rather sort of erratic openings, putting on 100 for no wicket, you thought, well, if they can do that, what's going to happen after that? So,
well, that was remarkable, wasn't it? Really, at the morning session of play, even when they lost a few wickets. I think they were 2 down, if I can remember, at lunch. They still looked in command, didn't they? Really? I mean,
yeah, no. Well, the run out, the sort of situation around Hamid was, lesson number one. If you're facing bowling from over the wicket, left arm spinner, you don't play it with half a bat, which he basically showed Jadeja all the stumps because he was standing outside leg stump. Basically, he stands in front of the stumps. So I don't know his technique of that, and then he happened to run out Milan as well, which wasn't very helpful. So
yeah, I'm not. I mean, Hamid is probably batted well enough to keep his position for this next Test match, but there must be a small question mark over his position, even though he's done reasonably well. There must be still an element of a question mark, and with the likes of James Vince and obviously Zach Crawley still there in the mix for the Ashes with Milan. I think there may be still a need to be honing on. But let's just take a second to look at the fact that England have lost that Test match. India have won it, granted, but the amount of exposure the England team have had to Test cricket lately is phenomenal compared to Australia, that has only played this last match at the Gabba, and now we're hearing, because of the Afghanistan situation with the Taliban, will not get a Test either against Afghanistan in Hobart in November. So they will not have played it with a red ball at all from January this year, the Gabba, to the Ashes Test. They're going to have they may have a Sheffield Shield game or something in between, but
they're so far behind the pace. They don't know who's coaching, they don't know who's captaining, and they don't know who's playing. So that's not a great position.
Or where we're playing.
Yeah. Really. So I think the Ashes has got to. Well, I suppose the only comfort you have is that they have tried to make the Rugby Championship, World Championship, take place, which they have done. Will they do that with the cricket? But the situation in Australia is pretty grim, really. So,
well, it's fast approaching not only 1,500, but into 3,000 or 4,000 the next month. They're expecting it, and our rate of vaccinations may get close to allowing us some benefits. But look, they'll play cricket here. I'm certain of that. There'll be a Test series of some sort, whether it's all in Darwin or Northern Queensland or Adelaide or Perth, and not in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. That's the only concern. But there'll be Test cricket. Don't worry. Right. And the families will be allowed in. I'm pretty sure that's not going to take that away. Just a matter of who wants to travel. Okay, so that's one aspect. We can talk about the previous Test. Yes, in fact, India deserved their victory, and Kohli, who has now captained 65 times for India, with 38 victories at 58%. He's in fact he's fourth behind War on 71, Ponting on 60 odd, I think he is. Then Williamson's on 59% and Kohli's 58%. It's a pretty damn good performance, really, as a captain.
I think he's done really well, and he's fighting as hard as anybody can do to try and regain his form. He just finds some really, really tame ways to get out, and none was more than when he got caught behind off mowing. Pretty weak. Well, I don't know if there's anything left at the dressing room door. I don't know whether those pictures
they showed that
beamed back to Australia, but he's fighting as hard as he can. He obviously has the real, his passion will rub off on the whole team. So I don't know what they're going to do about the team itself. Do they give Rane another opportunity?
I think they will. I think
he benefits basically, Norm, because what are we going to do? You're going to play somebody who's had nets for about 4 weeks, whereas this guy did a fantastic job in Australia. As long as he's, that you can tell that mentally he's still not too badly scarred, then he should definitely play.
Well, the issue is around Pujara's fitness and Rohit Sharma's fitness. The fact is that Rohit's got a knee problem and Pujara his ankle problem. There may well be still changes between those two as well, which would necessitate Rahane being kept in the side because they couldn't make 3 changes. But look, I mean, India's position is very strong. They've got the rarity of having so many bowlers wanting to make the side with Shami fit again. You know, Ishan Sharma's still floating around, almost playing so well. Siraj there, Bumrah there. They're going to have a riches of bowling.
And this is the ground where it does reverse as well, Norman. So
exactly.
So therefore, Jadeja will play, and I think what people in this country have seen is that people have always thought Bumrah's action was really bizarre and whatever, but obviously a very effective white ball bowler. What they've seen now is a bloke who is a proper Test match bowler and can deliver spells that just change the course of the game. So
that was amazing spell. Those 2 deliveries that got Pope and Bairstow out were, and the lead up to that as well, not just the deliveries, was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it was good. So
and he almost got Root as well in that same spell.
Yeah, and I think that they've worked out that actually to try and get the ball to come back into Pope and Bairstow, who like playing, you know, sort of through the offside, that's their strength. Is the way to go. So very, very impressive bowling, and they all complement each other to a degree. So so England are the ones who've got the problems. So we should see.
Although I don't think England will change their side though dramatically. I don't think they'll do, other than having to necessitate Butler back, Moeen Ali. Joe Root's made it clear that Butler's in, Moeen Ali's still in, and that the man likely to go is probably Pope.
Yeah, well, it would be, that would be fair, Norman. That he was the last man in and should be the first one out. You know, and if once you've made the comment that Butler's going to play, then one of the batsmen had to come out. So, so obviously the bowlers have all shaped up.
And Wood, of course, is returning as well. That will probably see Overton being left out. And the only question is this: by bringing Leach back into the squad, or bringing him into the squad, is that a furphy to try and throw India off and start considering Ashwin? I don't know, because Joe Root.
No, I think India are very, very clear in terms of the balance of their team. They've heard everybody talk about, you know, Ashwin with the hundreds of wickets he's got, but the last Test match revealed exactly why Jadeja was playing. Exactly.
So I don't think him coming back in. Leach is only a possibility. Root said if they need a second spinner, which implies Moeen Ali will be the first, and Leach will come in if needed, but that's unlikely. So, yeah, there's not a great deal of change going to occur between the sides, other than potentially the injury.
I wouldn't have said so. So It's actually the weather. It's been really hot for a few days in this country, and now it's started to rain. But I think the weather forecast for the weekend is a little bit better than people thought it was going to be. So, and I'm meeting Chris tomorrow at Polo Farm in Kent. He's coming to watch the under-19s bat.
Fantastic.
And there's a guy playing for the West Indies who under-19 cricket, even in when Gill was playing and Prithvi Shaw, people didn't get that many big scores. You know, they rather sort of had a dynamic 50 or whatever. But this guy, Bishop, playing for the West Indies, didn't get many in the first one-day international, got about 20. Second one-day international, which the West Indies lost by 1 run, he got 93 not out. And then the one that was played yesterday, where they managed to win by 2 wickets, chasing, 250 on a dry wicket. So it wasn't straightforward. He made 133. So
wow,
he's got most of their runs just in one guy, and he looks the part. So his name is Bishop, young lad. I will ascertain that for you.
No worries. But that's amazing. It's great to hear that, because that's only a matter of, you would argue, the next couple of years before these players emerge on the
Well, they do.
adult
They're given. I think everybody decries sort of 2020 tournaments, but 2020 2020 tournaments do give them the platform to play. The judgment of playing younger players, people will dismiss it if they try and assess them in the environment that they play in. Okay, so they need to play against people who are established international players, and that gives them a chance to do that. So,
even though it's not Test cricket, it's of another format. You're right.
No, I think you can sort of understand some of his. So his name is actually Teddy Bishop.
Teddy Bishop. Okay, that's a name which will ring in our heads as he gets older.
And there's another guy who hasn't got that many runs yet, but I think who's Akeem Auguste, Auguste, who is the captain, who came with really good credentials. But it's amazing how many people, and I can only look at my son, who for some reason imitated me when he started to play, is that Curtly Ambrose is with this under-19 team. A bit like, I think, as I can see the Indian team, but Dhoni's been selected as the mentor for the team.
Correct.
So Curtly is there as a name player and an inspiration. So,
Great idea.
Great idea. They just keep bowling, bouncer after bouncer after bouncer.
Really?
And their wicket celebrations are just absolute double for Curtly. So.
Well, all the teams are announcing their World Cup squads, as you probably started to see. I mean, the Indian team, and I'll quickly read it out, with Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul leading the charge, with Sky Yadav, Ishan Kishan, Rishabh Pant. They're all pretty much expected. Hardik Pandya is there in the side, and he's almost certain to bowl quite a lot, which is intriguing. Obviously, you've got the likes of Ravindra Jadeja, which is expected. You expect him to be there. Then you've got quite a few. So they've got a 15-man squad with 3 reserves. I think they could have got 10 reserves, really. Anyway, so
they're reading the commentary, Norman. They had a bit of a debate around the leg spinners.
Correct.
Is it Chowler's not been selected? There's another one being selected instead of him. Spelled similar.
Yeah, they've got very similar names. There's a Chahar and there's a Chahal. There's one that seemed to have. Chahal's been a bit of a favourite for quite a while. He's a very popular IPL bowler.
He's played all the time, hasn't he? So,
Exactly.
So he'll be really disappointed that he hasn't made the team. Is he not even a reserve either?
No. Well, if I'm being honest with you, the first 29 matches of the IPL, his performances were very, very ordinary, and they must have taken note of that he didn't perform well in the IPL stage 1 earlier this year, and I think that's what they've gauged his form on. And I do remember them talking about it quite heavily. But yeah, you've got like Jadeja. Axar Patel is obviously now part of it.
No. There was some interesting stats about Axar Patel, because in most games that I've watched, is sometimes the captain has a bit of an issue about bowling a left-arm spinner to a left-handed batter. So let's say in our cricket, you wouldn't be bowling it to Morgan that often, depending on the size of the ground. Axar Patel's record against left-handers is phenomenal in terms of runs conceded, and also, which we probably didn't see in the test, because that's the first time I've just seen him play IPL cricket from time to time. But the way that he bowled in the test match, from the first over he bowled, caused massive problems the whole way through the series.
Amazing.
But his strike rate as a batsman is also very impressive. It's like sort of 180, 190. So,
well, he was actually in the 2015 World Cup in Australia. He was a part of the squad that toured there. So he hasn't just come on the scene. He didn't get much of a go on that World Cup, but he came. He was a part of that squad. So he's had a bit of time. So Varun Chakravarthy is another one. Bumrah, of course. Chahar is another spinner. Bhuvi and Sharmi are both in there. Clearly, if you look at Bhuvi, but he would be Bhuvi Kumar. He was injured, of course, that's why he didn't come to England. He's a known swing seam bowler. It just goes to show they probably thought of him more than they do of Siraj in this format because he's been included. And
no,
of course,
Siraj, I think, is a real attacking bowler.
Yes.
And is just finding his way in the game, which I think is great. But Kumar is a proper, and you've got to be cool under fire at both ends. If you suddenly get teeing off against Roy and because I think he took some important wickets in the one-day series in India, where Roy had hit him for a few boundaries in even the same over, and he eventually got him out. So. Yeah,
so Jason Roy's opening partner. I've lost the thought of the partner.
Well, Butler opens in the T20.
Butler, okay. Well, Butler and Roy are fantastic. So Shreyas Iyer's come into the squad as a reserve, who's had a shoulder injury for months without any true practice. A bit of an interesting one. And Shardul Thakur got into the reserve list. To me, the reserve list is going to be used, and Deepak Chahar is another. But the big thing, as you said, mentor MS Dhoni, huge, having won World Cups. Very smart move. Very smart move indeed. There's a South African squad that's been announced. The Bangladesh squad has been announced. And England have announced their squad just now too. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, it was as predicted that Timo Mills would replace Archer. They are very keen on left arm seamers, it would seem.
Yeah,
because also Willie and Curran have also been included. Be interesting to see if they take any regard of Curran's outstanding IPL form because he did really well in the matches that were played.
You're talking about Sam, aren't you? Sam.
Yeah, Sam, not Tom.
Well, Tom's actually in the squad as well, though, isn't he?
He's a travelling reserve, I think, or not?
Correct. Yeah, I'll just read out this for the sake of our viewers. Owen Morgan's obviously the captain. Moeen Ali's in there. Bairstow, Sam Billings, Josh Butler, Sam Curran, Chris Jordan. I think he's a damn good inclusion. He's very good. Liam Livingston's the big one for me. Milan, Timo Mills, who we've talked about. Adil Rashid, Roy, David Willey, Wokes, Mark Wood. That's a bloody good side. Tom Curran, Liam Dawson, and James Vince are also in the reserves. That's a good side, except the fact they haven't got Ben Stokes there, which is unfortunate. It's a very, very strong England side.
So I'm assuming that the travelling reserves are travelling, Norman, because of COVID. That actually they're part of the bubble. So therefore, if you do have an injury, you come in.
They're effectively a part of the squad, really, because they have to go through quarantine if they don't. So the reality is they will have to be in the overall squad. In fact, I'm David. I'm a bit surprised that they haven't considered bringing literally anywhere up to 10 reserve players because of that. Because they could lose the whole. They could lose the whole team. You saw what happened in England with the fact that we lost the whole team against Pakistan.
But I do think that they are also now factoring in the effect of lots of people in the bubble and how that affects the whole group. So the fact of where it's positioned in the Middle East, I think, gives them, they might have. I'm sure England would have identified other players they'll keep in England in a pretty controlled environment. But I think even in what we're experiencing in the India series, that actually in the England squad, that they don't come and go, but it just seems to be a bit more relaxed than it was the previous summer.
True. I wanted to mention the South African squad just because I've got it in front of me. Both Chris Morris, who was one of the highest paid IPL players, and Faf du Plessis are both missed out from that squad, which is a bit intriguing because I'm assuming Chris Morris is fit and he'll be playing the IPL prior to it, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And they've included the spinner. I think
that's an indication of how the direction of the country. I think no one would be the right way to describe it.
I think you're right. So and Maharaj is in the squad, and they've got. I was going to. Temba Bavuma obviously is the captain now and seems to have the reins. So you've got Bavuma, De Kock, Fortune. I don't know Hendricks, Klaassen, Linda. Maharaj, Mark, who's a regular, Miller, who's a regular, Mulder, Giddy, Filaqueo, Norgay, Pretorius, Rabada. That's pretty strong bowling. Shumsey with his spin, Van der Dusen, and Williams. So I personally think South Africa got no hope of making the second bowling. They're having trouble against Sri Lanka at the moment, aren't they? So they're
Yeah,
a bit of a mess.
Their problem will be getting runs, Norman, I think, with that lineup.
Yeah.
But they'll still be competitive. So whatever happens. So
we'll talk more about the side as we get closer to that particular tournament. But I thought it was worth mentioning that now Bangladesh have got what I would argue is a pretty strong squad, especially the way they've been playing, albeit at home. They still have done a very good job. So England really.
So are you on tonight, Norman, as well, or not? Are you doing a program tonight? So you're doing a program before the Test match tomorrow morning?
Yeah, before the match, before your time tomorrow morning, correct?
Yeah, right. Because that might be a problem for me. Only tomorrow, because that's the last under-19 game I'm going to.
No problems.
Post that first day, I should be around. So
fantastic. I appreciate that, David. You're well loved. Everybody wants to know where you are, what you're doing. They wanted to particularly get stuck into you because of your prediction, though. I must say, they were very happy to, give you a bit of a talking to about your rather confident 6 wickets down, 10 overs to spare. Pope scoring the winning run.
Just put it down to being a patriot.
And I mean, and probably even worse than that was what Reg Vernon said: a draw, 8 wickets with 80 runs to get. Well, that was also off. So anyway, the reality was it was a great match. It was a great series.
Well, yours was predictions. So you're the crystal ball merchant. So.
Well, I do have the official crystal ball here, and there's only one of these, so I can't. It's not on loan, I'm afraid. It's like
no, it's fine. That's the problem. I wanted to come on, but I was stuck on a train because I know that your people who listen to me drivel on would have said, well, he's run off because he's chicken to come on the program.
There have been a few people
train from London to Bristol, so I take my hat up to India. I think they've done exceptionally well. Interestingly enough, the 2 games that they have won, and Trent would be a little bit the same. Massive India support.
Oh yes, and that helps. That
makes a big difference. So. But I'm sure they'll turn up at Manchester as well, so we'll go from there. So Norman, I hope it all goes. I hope it doesn't rain. That's the first thing,
right?
And on the website I was looking at, big headlines, breaking news from Manchester, another positive case, Indians cancelled practice, minor event that I don't think they'll be more keen on people having a rest rather than having a net.
Absolutely. Both batter and bowlers, for that matter.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'll run out of tape, which all the Indians seem to be. They'll be mummified by the time they finish this series. So, I'll speak to you during the game. All right, Norman.
All right. Thanks, David. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. All right, David. Thank you. So it's good to have David Graveney come in there and clarify a few things. He's obviously deeply engrossed in the England under-19 squad as one of the scouts and selectors for that, and he's talked about a few of the players there from the West Indian side. I think it was Teddy Bishop and Baptiste, or I think the name was, or I'll confirm those names. They were both brilliantly playing very well as the English players. You watch the under-19 sides will certainly develop into future Test stars and short-form players as well in the next couple of years. So David Graveney's comments are very much valid. And it was very interesting, the clarification that he gave on why Ravindra Jadeja was actually selected over Ashwin, and it makes a lot of sense. It was also in bowling over the wicket as well as round to actually get the ball scuffed on one side so as to make the ball reverse. So it wasn't just simply Ashwin's ability or Jadeja's ability. It was more what he does to the ball when he delivers it over the wicket, which scuffs the ball up in a manner where the ball becomes more conducive to reverse swing. So there's been a lot of thought go into this Indian selection process, and we probably don't appreciate it. In fact, not many people did. We all wanted Ashwin in the squad, and there's a reason for it now. So it looks as though Ashwin will yet again not be in the side. So I'm predicting tomorrow's side. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, but India's side will, barring injury to Pujara or Rohit Sharma or one of the bowlers like Bumrah, the side will be almost intact the way it was. The only chance of a change would be Sharmi coming in for one of the bowlers. We don't know who that will be at this stage, but unlikely that Ashwin will get in. Rahane will not lose his spot. It'll be once again Rahul, Rohit Sharma if fit, Pujara if fit. And you would argue if Rohit Sharma's not fit, Agarwal comes in. If Pujara's not fit, Vahari comes in. Sky, I don't think so. In fact, we might see Sky heading on the plane to the IPL very quickly once the team is announced. Then you'll have, of course, Kohli, Rahane, Panchadeja in whatever order, along with bowlers like Bumrah, Sharmi if brought back into the side, Sharmi and or Siraj, with, of course, the way that Umesh Yadav will almost be a certainty in the side as well. And that would be a very, very strong lineup indeed. With the England side, we've talked about that. Moeen Ali will stay. Butler will come in. Pope will be likely the one to miss out, even though he played well, especially in the first innings, not the second innings. And the bowling, Mark Wood will make his way in for probably Overton at this stage, barring any other injuries and barring any retirements from Anderson, which I doubt very much he'll retire. So there's a bit of an understanding of what's going on with England and Indian teams. But I do want to go back to the World Cup for a minute. I provided a video last night for you on the announcement, about an hour after announcing, which is very interesting. It's good to hear Joe Root discuss that. But the England squad, if you look at it on paper, are very, very strong. Very, very strong England lineup. They've got, other than Ben Stokes, which is the biggest, and probably Jofra Archer, they're two of the big losses, but they have got a pretty good damn side. I'll just return back to that now if you wish. Just have a look at that England side for a minute. The South African side, it's okay in the bowling department. Rabada and like a great bowlers. Chris Morris not the side, he's the most expensive IPL player. I'm not sure what's going on there. Duplessis would be important from a experience perspective, and obviously the one that really counted the most was Avi de Villiers not being there. So South Africa batting wise is severely depleted. And veteran leg spinner also Imran Tahir didn't play. Tahir and Duplessis in particular had retired from other forms of the game with one eye on playing the upcoming World Cup. So that's interesting. Both Duplessis and Tahir both had retired from other forms, but to concentrate on this, they both ended up not being selected. So Bavuma will captain the young side of the UAE. He is expected to recover from a thumb injury in time for the tournament. That is also featured Keshav Maharaj, the left-arm spinner, who is yet to play at T20 International. So Maharaj comes in without having played international. Bavuma is actually there with an injury. De Kock's there, he's reasonable. But Shamsi, Rabada, and perhaps someone like Ngidi and Norje are good bowlers. Miller's there as an all-rounder. It's an okay side, but it's by no means. And Markham's okay, but it's far from a great side. And they're going to struggle to win many matches, and they probably won't make the semi-finals. Nor will Sri Lanka. Bangladesh, who knows? They've done well already. And then you have teams like, obviously, India, England, and West Indies, who should all be featured, with Pakistan, New Zealand up the rear. Okay. How are you,
Hello,
Varun?
good evening, and good evening to everybody watching.
How are you?
I'm fine.
What do you think? There's been a whole... It's intriguing how it's almost like they waited for the Indian side to be announced. The Australian side would have been announced, but we've had South Africa, Bangladesh, and England all announced today for the World Cup. South Africa looks, scratch your head, they've left out Duplessis and Tahir. They've included Maharaj, who hasn't played a T20 International, which is bizarre. And then they have obviously not got Avi de Villiers there. They've got Pavuma, who's not an experienced captain, has a thumb injury. He's playing though. They've got a pretty good bowling attack. The batting side's awful. They're probably not going to make. They're not going to go very far.
Even Chris Morris is excluded, right?
Yeah, that's bizarre because the confirmation is that Duplessis and Tahir both gave up other formats of the game to concentrate on the T20 World Cup, but weren't selected. Which is I can't work that out because their experience is very important. I'm not the selector, but I think David Graveney made it pretty clear. He says it's the state of play in South Africa that the swing towards the balance of colour in the team, I'm afraid, whether it's good or bad, is not necessarily based on the best players. There's a quota system, which is pretty stupid because really
five players, right? 5 players have to be from a particular background.
Yeah, now look, I respect that. I get what they're trying to do, but if the players are not good enough, well, then don't just put them in because they're not good enough. That's silly. It's got nothing to do with race, creed, colour, religion. Nothing to do with any of that. It's a silly. And they should. I mean, look what's happened. Oh my, we've got some disasters going. We've got that for one. Then we've got Afghanistan not playing probably not be playing any more Test cricket. They're going to be. ICC will probably make a call.
And even the Pakistan, after the World Cup squad announcement, there is a big issue going on. Huge changes. The coaches resigning, a new chairperson coming in, then the captain not happy with the team. I don't know. I won't be surprised if Babar Azam is removed from the captaincy also.
So why would you get rid of 2 of the most influential and significant players of the modern era? Misbah-ul-Haq was a brilliant captain when he played, incredibly well respected, an incredible player, and Wasam Akar Yunus, who was an incredible player, incredible motivational person. The smartest move out of everybody is India. India have got Dhoni there. How clever was that? Make him in that mental role. Imagine his presence around the World Cup squad. What he can tell them. Look. Honestly, I can't look past India for the World Cup. Only England's going to threaten them and maybe the West Indies, but that's it. New Zealand won't suit the conditions. Pakistan still have a pretty good squad, but then the rest are a waste of time. South Africa, Australia will not play as a team at all until the World Cup. The squad of players they've picked have not played together since I don't know when. It's horrible. I've got a sneaking suspicion about Bangladesh. I wouldn't write them off from going a long way in this tournament. We just don't know.
Yeah, because it just suit them. No, but there is a bigger issue here, Norman. If you see 4 teams right now are in a dire situation in world cricket, and world cricket itself is already so small. And we are talking about Sri Lanka, we are talking about Afghanistan, we are talking about South Africa, and to an extent Pakistan. So you can have 4 teams in very dire situation of what exactly happens. Pakistan will definitely play in any sense, but where South Africa is going, it would, who knows, they might even be weaker than a Zimbabwe or Uganda kind of a team, which is not, it's not Harbi. I can say not. It's not a good sign for cricket overall.
Okay, I don't disagree with you at all, Varun. It's perfectly right. Teams that we expect to be up there may not be. But at the same time, the emergence of a Oman or even USA, even teams like Papua New Guinea, let's not forget, it might be a bizarre opportunity for those countries to excel. And you might have a myriad of players who are ex-India, ex-Pakistan or ex-wherever, floating around, making their way into those teams. It could be bizarrely a good thing. I don't want it to be the case. I do not want it to be the case. But realistically, Sri Lanka's population is 20-odd million. Okay? I'm not knocking their population. But if they can't get their act together, they've only got themselves to blame. They're horrifically administered. They've got enormous amounts of corruption. I think Mohan De Silva is the only man that I know that I can trust there. Sanjeeva Ranatunga is another, Arjuna's brother. But I can't talk about many more. Okay, they've got a diabolical mess there. I mean, Roshan Abhasingha, who's been a guest on my show, I know him really well, great commentator. They desperately need a Sangakkara to come back out of his MCC role, or a Jayawardena to come back. Those 2 men are incredible statesmen. They should be running Sri Lankan cricket. They will fix things. I'm afraid they're not. But that's the problem. Those sorts of people are the ones they need. They've got to get rid of people that are corrupt. They've got to get rid of people that have a bias, who are a part of the president's entourage, I'll call them. There's too many of these things going. Sangakkara and Joe Widener are very upstanding gentlemen who can handle the pressure of what goes on there. I wouldn't bring Arjuna around and talk about. He's politically driven beyond belief now. He's politically, he'll go against anyone that's not in his party. What's the point of that? Moanda Silva, he's a man I know very well, incredible gentleman. If no one's listening, he's a great friend of mine. Amazingly honest man, amazingly diplomatic man. He's been the secretary for a lot of years through all the debacles, but he's still the man they should go to because he's honest. That's the first word I want is honesty and integrity. Everything else doesn't matter. And that's what they miss out. The women's cricket team, I can announce for you now, they've had a debacle with one of their previous coaches, but the current coach is none other than Hashan Tilakaratne, the former Sri Lankan player, who is, and his way Appasari, they're both, and Simon Willis, who's normally on my show, can attest to it, two lovely people who have their heart on the sleeve for Sri Lanka. And Hashan Tilakaratne has supported the Sri Lankan women, and they are going to prosper now because he's in charge. Big plus. Big plus. I mean, he's an incredible person. And one of the rare people, again, that are honest. Not so much honest only, but good, you know. All right, so we'll talk about the World Cup more in a few weeks. So we've got the IPL to talk about in the World Cups. But there's no doubt, India, England, West Indies, the standout three. I did say Pakistan, New Zealand for the fourth spot. I just don't know which one. You're saying Pakistan's got problems. But you know what Pakistan are like. They can still pull a rabbit out of the hat and still make the semi-finals. Let's not deny that. But South Africa, Australia, I'm sorry, I don't care who's selected. They've got the squad there, which isn't a bad squad, but they haven't got any team cohesion. And with Langer at the helm and all the things that are going, it'll take a bloody miracle for them to get anywhere near a semi-final. And they've got I think they've got England and the West Indies, I'm not wrong, in their group. That those two teams are going to beat them for sure. So even though they're okay, they're not that good. All right, so.
But this format, Norman, this format is such that couple of games bad and you just need two bad games and you could be out. So any team could be out. Remember that this format is such a way. It won't give you a, how can I say, a second chance. So you have to be good in this almost every day. Maybe one bad day is okay. Two bad days and you might.
I mean, you're right. You're totally right. There's no doubt that there's certainly an uncertainty to a T20 World Cup. You could have a very brilliant streak and you might win many matches. That's where Bangladesh, who currently have incredible, you have to admit, they have incredible form at the moment. Even though it was against the Western side, I don't care about that. They're showing form leading into a World Cup. You know what? That's extremely important. Team cohesion is important, and they've got it.
Okay,
you'd have to think that New Zealand, Australia. I think New Zealand are a bit better than that, but they're going to struggle.
And what do you think about this Dhoni being the mentor? Because I was just thinking that can it be a bad also, because last time India had something very similar where I think 2003 or 4 where Sunil Gavaskar was the consultant hire, means you can say now it's just a name change like a mentor. But do you think that there will be conflicts between Ravi Shastri and Dhoni, or is this something like Dhoni will become the coach or something like that? Do you feel it's somewhere going in that direction?
Who's the name of the guy from BCCI? Shah. He's made it very, 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 very clear before they were agreed upon. He sat Shastri with Kohli, and I think Rohit Sharma was in the meeting as well, with Dhoni, and they discussed what was going on, which was very, very professional, very, very smart, very, very clear. And look, let's be honest. Ravi Shastri, Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and a number of others, it's a great side. They should go close to winning. But they probably need MS Dhoni there, not to interfere with selections or interfere with coaching, but there to talk about what it's like to win. It's not a bad move, actually. I think if Kohli uses MS Dhoni correctly and gets him to mentor young players on how he had the mental strength to win, knowing the key moments to actually do your best. Even though Kohli's very good at that now too, I think. And look at Rohit Sharma winning Mumbai Indians as well. The reality is that's a good thing, not a bad thing. MS Dhoni's not a dominant man. He won't dominate where he's not allowed to. Okay. If it were someone like, I won't say Ganguly, but I can't think of a person offhand, someone who might dominate. I don't know who that would be, but someone from India who would dominate the discussion could create problems. I would agree with it. But Dhoni's going there as a mentor. It's not a coach. It is a different role. What was it? A consultant. Consultant implies you're meddling with strategy. A mentor is there to tell the young people when to win, how to win, where it's crucial to be strong mentally. And this is how I did it. I went about the last overs. I took charge. I faced the bowling. I hit the shots. I took my time. I didn't panic, even though we were against the run rate or whatever. That's what you need to hear. You need someone to say, oh, we're up to 8 and over. How are we going to do this? And the likes of, MS Dhoni will come in and say, relax. We've still got 7 overs. 8 and over is possible. Just keep the board ticking over, get close, and then pick your moment to launch. Pick your bowler, pick your end. That type of advice is what you want to hear. Because if you haven't got someone saying that to you and they go, oh my God, we've got 8 runners, start hitting, is where the panic sets in. And that's where Dhoni is particularly good. Even though Kohli and Shastri are also good, but they probably, if they lack anything, Kohli and Shastri for the World Cup is that winning moments. Okay? Let's be honest. Kohli and RCB haven't won a title. Kohli in the World Cup or the ICC tournaments hasn't got across the line at the very end. So, not that he's a bad player, but Dhoni has.
Lack of trophies.
Rohit Sharma has for more Indians. Kohli, and I told you, I think when the RCB team are together, and you watch what they do, Kohli looks to Dan Christian all the time. Dan Christian, what do you think, Dan? Let me look at your reaction. Because Dan Christian is a winner. He's not the best player in the team, but he knows how to win. The backroom winning, okay? And if you watch Dan Christian, how many teams has he played in that have won? CPL, BBL, IPL. He's had incredible success. Now, why is that? Not because he's a great batter or bowler, but he knows when to instill a winning attitude into a team. MS Dhoni has that same ability, okay? Michael Bevan did for Australia in the past. Maybe Ponting did, right? Even Michael Clark did a pretty good job at that as well. What I'm getting at is that this is what is the beauty of an MS Dhoni, not unlike Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma will tell you, when I was in charge of Mumbai Indians, we were losing this match, but this is what I did to get out of that. That's invaluable.
Yeah, correct. Especially, I remember the match, Nidas Trophy against Bangladesh, that run out. Especially from losing positions, getting to winning is also something on Dhoni. And I agree, the lack of trophies by Virat is maybe one of the reasons. I think the only thing Virat ever won, if I'm not wrong, was the Under-19 World Cup when he was, but that was long back.
We can't knock the guy. He's got to so many finals and so many semi-finals. He's brilliant. But it is a mental clarity that maybe he needs. Test-wise, no one can tell him what to do now because he knows what he's doing. It's working. People should get him to mentor them, actually. In fact, Joe Root, I think, has unofficially got Kohli mentoring him. Because if you listen to Root, the word template came out from Kohli first in the first couple of test matches. What was Root using by the 4th test match? Template. That's no fluke. And he says in his press conferences, Root says, well, I'm looking at what Kohli does and I'm learning. That's about as clear a message as you can get. So
this is the thing. Kohli also said this in the beginning. Sorry to interrupt you, Norman. Kohli is also, in fact, I think the second of the match when they lost, that Kohli said that India is a team that right now everybody wants to emulate or wants to, because of our success. We are the only team right now who people consider that if they go outside, they will win in outside conditions, right? And that's the fact. Right now, India is the only team which is considered as a team that can win in outside conditions, which is a commendable thing.
Oh, it's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's brilliant. Look, the reality is Kohli has cracked the code of winning away from India, winning away from home. My God, he's won in Australia on the Gabba and won in England at Lords and the likes of the Oval. I mean, for God's sake, he wins against New Zealand at home and South Africa away. That's it. He's just about covered the world, hasn't he? He wins at home as well.
I'm telling, silverware is the only thing lacking. Once he gets...
but Kohli's let's just say, let's look forward 3 or 4 years. We're going to see Kohli win anywhere up to maybe 15 to 20 more test matches, okay? Which will put him right at the top of test wins from any captain of any team of any era. Pretty phenomenal, to be honest with you. But look, I mean, I believe Kohli has learnt from watching, whether it's tapes or whatever he's done, captains like Steve Waugh, Ponting, Border, even Ganguly, Dhoni. He's watched them and he's learnt that the way that they went to win a game. Now, Steve Waugh didn't have 71% for no reason, okay? He was a very good captain. Forget the players he had. Actually, the players are not relevant. If you're a bad captain, you won't win anything, okay? Your players won't win anything if you're a bad captain. Look at Clive Lloyd. He had some of the best players, but he had to bring them together. And he was one of the best captains as well. You know, so really, that's where the aggression of a Waugh or a Ponting is what Kohli's doing. Kohli said, right, he's probably looked at the captaincies around the world in the history and said, right, why do these guys win? And he's had a good look at Waugh and Ponting and even Border, and he realises why they've won, because they were fighting, team was gritty, and he's done an aggression and not fearing. I mean, Alan Border faced the fastest West Indian bowlers ever, right? But in one or two matches in particular, I can remember him scoring 150 in both innings. That was because Border had sheer guts. Anyway, you get my point, don't you? I think that's
especially adding, see, why I admire Clive Lloyd a lot is because you should, everybody should note that in case of Clive Lloyd, he had to get a team to gel with having players from 7-8 different countries who, like, other than human organizing or human organizational behavior, like what he had to do, there was no other power to control them, because you cannot go to that, let's say the Jamaica board had no control over Antigua board or something like that. So that's something really commendable in case of Clive Lloyd.
Oh, look, I mean, let's just try and compare it. It'd be like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh being the one team.
Yeah, that's really just correct. You add Nepal, you add Afghanistan, you know, from where maybe one player coming in. So that's something like that.
And some of the islands which we're talking about are literally different cultures. They have French influences. They have either British or even Spanish influences. They have
Dutch,
culturally,
even Dutch.
It's quite Dutch. There's a ridiculous amount of influences over these people, and physically they're different. A Barbados person is different to a Jamaican. Trinidad, they're all nuggety Indian-looking players, aren't they? They've got a very strong Indian influence in Trinidad. Other than maybe Lara, I mean,
Chandrapol, I think, was one example.
Yeah, it's a sensational. So anyway, the reality is that India's, and we're only about halfway through the Indian era. They've still got a lot to go. They beat Australia at home, England at home. What's next? They beat South Africa at home. That's it.
I think beating New Zealand at home, I think, is something which will definitely.
Yeah, but they don't get to play.
If New Zealand beats India at home, you can say that New Zealand is the best team.
But you know what? I'll predict you the scoreline of those New Zealand tests. India will absolutely pulverise New Zealand. India will set up decks that are spin friendly. They'll kill them. Because you know what? They'll be so vengeful. They're going to want to thrash them, and they're going to do it. You watch. They will play all guns blazing in those matches. New Zealand, heaven help them, they're going to get absolutely smacked. Even with Williamson aside, he won't be enough. He'll be like Root. He'll be on his own. At home, they've got no hope. They'll be really. I mean, if they New Zealand get beaten at home. Sorry, in India, and they go and play South Africa, they win there. Really, a couple more. In a couple of years' time, they'll play England again in England and Australia. Then, when they win those tournaments, they will be the best in the world. It'll be an era of cricket that Kohli could easily win another 20 tests, right? That will mean he'll go right up to the top if he's not already. But the only thing is, I think Kohli in the next couple of years will probably stop playing the short form. I don't know when, but I reckon maybe this is the last World Cup. Maybe next year, that's it. I think he won't be playing as captain, certainly not. I think
for sure, at least the 2023 World Cup, he will be the captain.
2023, yeah. I think that could be. I think that would be a good time for him to say, concentrate on Test cricket and captaincy. Play the short form if he wants to, but not captain. And I think the person to take over will be Rohit Sharma.
But Rohit Sharma and him are the same age. I think Rohit Sharma.
I think maybe. But I think Rohit Sharma's got a bit more hunger to be a captain. If that makes any sense.
There was a lot of talk right now. I'm telling you, Norman, there was a lot of talk net out. People think that Rohit Sharma would have been made the captain for this T20 World Cup. There was a lot of lockdown. I'll say hi to Ray, Puranjay. Many people are telling me hi. So,
look, Harsh Gupta, Australia have not only threatened, they're going to cancel it. The Taliban are not going to back down for their women to be playing cricket. The women are actually in fear of their lives at the moment. They're hiding somewhere. I don't know where. There's no hope in hell.
I heard the women's team in Afghanistan are practicing at they have not started, but what I understand, they have made a separate stadium for there where only women will be allowed and they will be allowed to practice. This is what I heard. I don't know, will it move ahead, but if it moves, it's very good.
Yeah. Look, the reality is they won't survive. The Taliban, having women playing at that elite level and the amount of attention that cricket gets around the world, they will not have a bar of that. Taliban, one of their priorities is to take women out of school, to take women out of work, to take women out of sport and out of the public life and have their face covered more than they already are. So this is the last nail in the coffin for a team, Afghanistan, that had reached the heights that they have and they're about to emerge on the world stage, they're going to go backwards 10, 15, 20 years until the Taliban gets out of power, I'm afraid.
Even the men's team also, I don't see, they are the crop of players right now, but I don't see any new players coming up, and you get my point. Like whatever is, if they continue with this way, don't see any next generation coming up.
Trust me, they're out there. They're all over the world now. They're probably all in America. They're probably all in.
Won't we supply the Afghanistan team? Half of them be in America or some European country or something like that, or who knows?
I don't think any of them are still in Afghanistan. To be really honest with you, are really living there, and I don't think. Look, I don't know how long the Taliban are going to be in power. Who knows, right? But they're dangerous everywhere around the world. So if these people are hiding in the middle of Oman or somewhere else, they can be found and killed. So the dangers are very high. So it's going to create. I mean, the ICC hasn't made a decision yet, but good on Australia. They've been pretty strong this early and said, right, you're not going to have women. Well, we don't want you. And it's over. It's over.
No, it's a good decision by Australia. In no way I say that the Cricket Australia, it's a very right thing to do.
It is.
Argue differently, but I would be looking at long term. This is because the group that I'm talking about, the Taliban group, also needs to understand or needs to realize that things are not the same now.
I mean, Australia had to do it. we're so heavily into women's cricket now, and we've got people on the Australian Cricket Board that all, Cricket Australia that are women, that are ex-cricketers. They're not going to have a bar of women being stopped playing cricket. They're too powerful now. So that's gone. And look, it's sad. It's very sad, but it's not the end of the world either. One team won't be enough to worry the world cricket if they can't play because of this. It's sad, but that's the way it's going to have to be. But
it took a lot of efforts to development them, and now everything has just gone down the drain. That's the sad part, what I can say. Anyway, as you said, it's not the end of the world, so we might have Nepal coming up.
Well, look, it'll mean that I'm going to assume that the Afghani men and the Afghani women that have made the top levels or close to top levels will just basically run to another country and end up being in their system. So the players physically won't be lost. I don't think. It's more the country will be. And look, there are plenty of countries coming through that are going to take that mantle. I tell you now, there's plenty of European countries. There are certainly more Asian countries. In the Asia Cup, I mean, Oman is very close to coming through. Then you've got Papua New Guinea, for God's sake. They're sport mad there. They're going to come through. They already are. And more important, the USA. The USA is a huge one. If they can become a top 10 team, wouldn't that be great?
Okay, let's talk about the test tomorrow. Arpan, there's a message. Rohit and Pujara fit and available for selection.
Where'd you see that?
Just a recent comment. Arpan.
Yeah, I've heard, to be honest with you, almost nothing about them, which means to me that it's not yet certain. Okay? They will judge their fitness literally tomorrow morning. And I can assure you, if they're not up to it, they're not playing. Because India have got other players in the squad that can come in, such as Vihari and Agarwal. So, and Sky, I think Sky, see, it's interesting with Sky and Ashwin, they're going to want to get to UAE pretty quickly because they're now major parts of the World Cup. And we might see, when the team's announced tomorrow, that afternoon, I reckon Ashwin and Sky and whoever else is not playing will be on the first plane to UAE.
Yeah, could be.
Well, they need to be because they've got to quarantine and get ready. And they've got only a week or so to get ready. So they'll be on the next plane. They probably, I mean, really, India should have announced this side today and got them on the planes already. Honestly. Well, that's a bold move. Okay, we'll give it to tomorrow morning. But, Ashwin's not playing. Almost certain Ashwin's not playing. In fact, the Indian team, especially if Pujara's playing, see, Pujara and Rahane are not figuring in the IPL or the World Cups, are they? So they're worth just leaving here and playing. Rohit Sharma and Rahul certainly are. They're heavy amongst all of it, but they're still pretty keen to do well at Test cricket. So, I hope Rohit Sharma and Pujara play. I really do, because this match is extremely important. They haven't won it yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of
this match. They lose the series.
Any latest update from Munchie on the weather?
Well, David Graveney he said the weather's a lot better than expected. It's going to be dry and sunny, and the wet weather forecast that was expected doesn't look like it's going to happen. Which means we could, although we're predicting 3 or 4 days of rain, but that looks like it's not going to happen. Isn't it funny? This is the time where India wants rain. They'd be happy with. Actually, I think India want to win. They want to win. They don't want to have a wet day. They don't want to have conditions which are wet. To be honest, I don't think.
Correct.
But see, Butler's back on the side, which I think just shows the urgency of England netting him back in so quickly. He must be more important than we realise in terms of his vice captaincy. I don't know. Moeen Ali, well, I don't want to say he did a bad job, but they need Josh Butler. Obviously, Josh Butler has an influence on the side. He hasn't batted well. I mean, you could almost open with Butler. I really think England might need to shake things up a bit with their batting order. Get more aggressive early on. Even though the openers did well, they need to get aggression into their batting, and I think that's why Bairstow's still in there. Bairstow is aggressive, even though he didn't do well in that second innings. The England side's not done and dusted yet. They know if they win this match, they win the trophy back, or they keep the trophy. So they're not out of it yet. But India are in an incredibly good position. The pressure's off India somewhat.
Yeah, you can, but still there's a lot, especially the WTC points. They are very important. So any match cannot be taken lightly over there.
So okay, actually, Dhoni now has to set traps with spinners while controlling the scoring rate. As a great captain of spinners, and considering his spinners, I can't help but think he had put his. Dhoni won't be a coach; he'll be a mentor. He will tell players, "This is how you mentally win a game. When a crucial stage comes, this is what you do. You calm down. You don't let score or pressure dictate things to you. You allow calmness."
Correct. Norman, I'll have to leave. I'm getting a call. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you everyone for watching, and see you again. See you again, Norman.
Post day one?
Post day one, okay. Yeah, it's anyway Friday night, so yeah.
All right, right. Good stuff, mate.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Look, we've got Munchie, Chris Vern, and Reg Vern. They're all on holidays, guys. They're in the summer of England. They're on holidays. They're not here. It was great to have David and Baram here. We're very lucky to have those people here. But, you know, and the number of other sporting guys like Monty and Adam have had other commitments, but they'll be back. Don't worry. We'll have them in here at some stage. The likes of Viv Richards' brother Merv is also going to join us. And the partner is not well. Probably the most, and I've got to give you some news, guys. There's two things I need to talk about now, which are rather sad. One is our fellow co-host, who was a fan of the show, who became a co-host, has been on a number of episodes now, Nilakshi Sharma. You remember Nilakshi? She's been on only recently. She was actually in hospital the last couple of days. She's actually had quite a serious problem. She actually, I won't go into detail, but she had a major operation to get rid of 2 tumours from her body. And it's by no means a good situation. I spoke to her by text message 2 days ago after the first. Well, yes, after the first. She's not in a good way. It's very sad. Please, we need to have some prayers there for our fellow co-host Nilakshi Sharma. And if you're in any way connected to her, guys, as fans, please shout out to her and wish her all the best. And think about her over the next few days in her recovery from what trauma she's going through at such a young age. It's very sad to see a girl at that young age having to suffer at all with any health problems. Has kept it quiet, so humble. I'm so proud that I brought her into the show a matter of months ago. And I think it was much earlier this year. She was a big fan of the show. She kept making comments. I said, look, you want to have a bit of a go at being a part of the show? I gave her one guest spot. She handled it beautifully. I gave her more. Now she became a regular with great insightfulness, youthful understanding of cricket from a girls' perspective, and I really cherish her involvement. I'm very sad to hear that she has anything wrong with her health at all. I don't know how severe this is, guys. I'm not sure how bad it is. It does not sound good at all. So please, prayers, thoughts go out to Nilakshi Sharma. I know that Chris Vern has been in heavy contact with her. I certainly have. I'll make sure all of our guests are aware of that. I'd like them all to please think of her. We may organise some financial benefit for her, because I don't know how she's paying for all this. If it's able to be done, I don't know. She hasn't burdened us with any of that. She kept it totally away from me. So I'm very proud of her. The other is that that's one matter. So Nilakshi Sharma, we'll talk about her in every episode. But Nilakshi Sharma, so that's one person we need to all think about. You all remember her, don't you? She was only a matter of a week or so ago. The other person that I want to bring up is not so much the person, but Alan Mullally, who we all know as a part of the show, is a former England cricketer. He's been brought to his attention some of his colleagues and friends in Bali, in Indonesia. Bali is a relatively small island. It's totally and utterly based on tourism. I mean, there are plenty of tourist spots around the world which are suffering, I know. But Bali's not only suffering because of the complete and utter lack of tourism, which means they're earning absolutely no money at all. They're also running out of food stocks. apparently there's no food getting into the country. There's no food in the country, and they rely on tourism to have all these things happen. There's no flights in there. They're isolated from the rest of Indonesia. They're suffering not just economically with the downturn of the economy based on COVID-19, but also lack of tourism, also the lack of food. So I'm going to set up a form of fund or charity where the money will not go into my hands, it'll go directly to a certain person that we're trusting in Bali to start to provide that help. He's a great contact of ours and we trust him emphatically, and we're arranging bank accounts and ways of getting money from us all to that country. I know other countries of the world, such as I can talk about India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. I mean, there are multitudes of countries that are suffering. Thailand. I can go on another 50 or 60, 70 countries. Africa, there's all parts of the world which are suffering, including Australia for that matter. But I think we need to think of a country which seems to be handling it the worst. And our evidence is pretty clear. We've checked it out quite thoroughly that Bangladesh seems to be the one. There's a third point about David Graveney. There's something that I wanted to do with him with a person in northern Queensland. Haven't heard anything about that, so I need to work on that as well. So there are three aspects of today's discussion. Lakshmi Sharma, who's a co-host, which I'm very distraught about. Also, this Balinese or Indonesian fund that will start up with the help of Alan Mullally and his contacts. And thirdly, this is David Graveney situation with a certain individual that's in northern Queensland that we're trying to help out as well. So the third one's less important to you, but important to me, but the other two are very important to me. So again, please think about those people and please make comment. The show looks like the bad guy from Minions. What are you talking about, me? Pretty sure has leadership qualities. Yeah, of course, the under-9 World Cup leader and Vijay Hazare Trophy 2020. Yeah, look, pretty sure it's going to find his day where he'll get involved with the captaincy of his country. Just not yet, but he will in the future. Bhavesh Deshpande says, will the game go ahead tomorrow? We've heard nothing, but yes, it will. You're a doctor at her place. Okay. Entrepreneur, send me your details through Instagram, please, and I don't know whether we need to call her directly at this point, but please, Entrepreneur, send me your details, and I'll make sure she gets a hold of them. Okay. And you can send it to my Twitter and Instagram, Entrepreneur. Okay. Pavan Chiru, Surav Gilguli said we don't know if the fifth test will happen at this moment or not. Well, that's still early discussion. We haven't heard anything more conclusive about that at this point. My Indian 11 for the fifth test is Rahul Sharma, Pujara Kohli, Yadav in place of Rahane. Okay, Pant, Thakur, Ashwin, Yadav, Shami, Bumrah. Well, Ashwin unlikely. If Yadav is in there, I don't know whether it's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. Himanshu Chowdhury, should I host Zimbabwe or Ireland for one off test play? Well, they haven't yet made the decision on Afghanistan conclusively. I'm sure they're going to give the Taliban some sort of deadline of their decision, but at this point, it's off. You're right. So we may need a replacement. It may happen. It'll be a bit of effort to sort that out. Ishan Sharma, I don't think he'll be playing. And Bumrah, I don't think will be rested either. Yeah, there's been no discussion about the match not being on at this point. It may or may not go, but I think it will. Ishan Sharma's not coming back in, I don't think. My Indian for the fifth test, I think we already talked about it. Yes, we have. So no, I don't think there's any. I don't think we'll see Ashwin come back in. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. And the other issue is Sky is there, yes. But why wouldn't you put Agarwal or Vihari in before Sky? I don't think it's fair to those two who've been in the entire tournament for a third player to come in unless there's a reason for it, and I don't see the reason. It's not evident to me that's going to be the case. So no, I think it'll be Agarwal or Vihari to come in, but it won't be for Rahane. They'll come in if Pujara or Rohit Sharma pull up injured or not. Pull up sore, quite frankly. If Bumrah needs to rest, well, then he will make that decision. There's been no discussion about resting at the moment, but we don't know yet. MS has mentioned all that. That's good news. It is Puranjay Sachdeva. That's fantastic news. Partners next captain of Test cricket may well be. But the short form, I think Robert Sharma more so. This is getting played under the cloud of T20 World Cup selections. Players might be distracted. Hopefully not. There's still a few days to go. They'll be focused on this test. Don't worry. They still have to win this test series. They haven't won it yet. It's 2-1 down, 2-1 up, and England have to win to retain it. India can afford to draw and win. So there's a lot more in India's favour at this stage. We'll give it to Australia's higher in the T20 World Cup. Well, he's a reserve, isn't he? He's not in the team. So it depends on availability. Why pick Varun ahead of Yuji? That's a good question. Obviously, Chahal's form in the IPL recently was not all that good, and they must have taken that into account when they selected the side. They must have, because I think Varun bowled better in that series. What do you think about the Manchester rain situation? Well, Brian, we've already spoken about that, and David Gravity made a point about that. Munchie's not available, but it looks as though the weather is actually not as bad as they first thought. There was meant to be several days of rain and depression due to a cyclonic, tropical cyclone that's come from New York of the Americas to England, but it looks as though that may not be quite as severe as they first thought. And if that is the case, then there'll be clear skies and a lot more play predicted. Rohit, Rahul, Kohli, Sky, Ishan, Jadeja, Aksa. What's this? Is this the? Yeah, that's the squad. Okay. Chahal averages 42 over the past year, so yes, he is not deserving as of now. People who now figured him out. Yeah, I think he's out of form. Once you all say that, right? Century was absolutely and utterly sensational. He has turned into the master Test batsman that he deserves to be. He's transformed his play amazingly. He is now the leading opener for India with Rahul, and will stay there as long as he wants. Brilliant, especially in English conditions. No Lynn, no Fath, and the South African side's a mess. I think they're not going to win many games. They've got a good bowling. If they can't bat there. India don't have a backup for Pandya and the T20 World Cup. Lloyd as reserve. Yeah, there's a bit of a risk with Hardik Pandya. If he's not fit and doesn't end up bowling or pulls up short and ends up not bowling, they're going to rue having him in there. I have to say that's a little bit of a disappointment. I would have had Tucker in there. Do you think they should have gone with 4 spin, 5 spin right? Yeah. But again, it's UAE. UAE is definitely a spin-friendly location. They've obviously judged that, and they've played there enough. So they played the IPL there, didn't they, last year? There's a lot of knowledge about what goes on there. I think they picked the right side. I think they picked a very, very, very good side. Just a few minutes ago, Hogg said very confidently India will win the 5th test, and I agree with him. Totally agree with him. And what do you think India would need an extra batsman to back up for the team? Yeah, there's been discussion about that. It's hard to know what they're going to do there. I don't think 18 players was enough. I would have had at least 22 and kept 11 separate because they need to be worried about COVID. Will you cover IPL too? Absolutely. I covered the first 29 matches of the World Cup for 2021. With 31 matches to go, I'll be right on top. I'm already looking at the sides. I work with Sri Harsh on that as well. An extra time, we're all looking at the squads and the makeups and the machinations. I've got Anisha Thakur coming on to join me. Great commentary. Looking forward to that, guys. IPL will be covered on this channel, definitely. Pre-post match, the whole thing for 31 matches. Oh, it's going to be tiring. And then straight into the World Cup. And then hopefully a little bit of a rest before India play New Zealand, and then Australia plays England, and South Africa plays India into the next series. And we'll hopefully have a slightly lesser format, hopefully. A bit more time off. Has Rahul retaining position as a test opener? 100%. Poor Shubman Gill picked the wrong time, and Rahul picked the right time and played out of his skin. He knew he had to perform, and he did. He performed really, really well. Absolutely brilliant. Steve Harmison, Nathan Hussain, and all have been focusing on the fact that Old Trafford pitch will be the most dry pitch of the series and will definitely spin on the 4th and 5th day. And if that is the case, then both Jack Leach will come in for England as a second spinner with Moeen Ali, and then they may bring in Ashwin with Jadeja. So if that's what they're considering, that may be the changes. If that's the case, and if it is dry, that looks like with Leach's inclusion, England are showing their hand a bit. Maybe that's teaching India a thing or two as well. We might see that happen. I'm not going to take that away. If that's the case, Ashwin will come in as the second spinner, which is interesting. People are not thinking of him as the second spinner, are they? Are we? Having played all matches in the series until I'm not given. Yeah, it's true. And we'll go with same attack or with 3 paces and 2 spinners. Yep, correct. What you will say about Pujara in the series? He's done very well. I do watch a bit of Hogs. He's good. Pujara's first average around 4 seasons. Okay. Roberts, do you go Himanshu Chaudhary? Do you go onto Hogs' show and then say, "Oh, do you watch Norman Costing's Eyes on Cricket?" Do you say that too? I hope you do, because you're saying a lot about Hogs on my channel. I love you to reciprocate and tell Himanshu when you watch Brad Hogg's show that you say, "Oh, have you watched Eyes on Cricket?" I would like you to do that. Pujara's first in look, I'm not going to knock Pujara up. He was involved in the 153 run partnership in the second innings. They got 466. They won the match. How could you knock Pujara? Well, versus MF's first match. Okay, that's in the IPL, correct? No. Hello, sir. What's the update about COVID cases in the camp? Well, there is an extra official that's been tested positive, which is trying to cat amongst the pension that they're not trained, they've isolated. I'm sure the players will be tested again, and if they're negative, they'll play. It's as simple as that. So when the players begin to get tested positive, there'll be a cat amongst the pigeons. Ashwin's inclusion against Kohli's wishes. If he doesn't see him in the playing 11 in test, then why would he want him to? Well, that's 2 different formats, and the conditions in UAE are precisely what Ashwin revels in. So you can't even compare the two. King versus Morgan. I mean, this is the IPL we're talking about, or what are you talking about? What's your match? What's wrong? Oh, India's going to win. I think the momentum, the difficulty for England to actually get their act together for the next test is going to be very obvious. And there'll be some very tired bowlers because they bowl 30+ overs. Robertson, Anderson, even though they're going to be not rested, they're going to play. They're going to be pretty tired chappies, I'll tell you. Very, very tired. Very tired indeed, as we all are. Pujara's done well this series. Will Gill come back? Definitely. Well, Gill will come back. Whether he opens or not, we don't know. He's not on the IPL squad, is he? He's not on the T20 squad, no. Is he? Interesting. Norman, do you surprised that Ashwin included in the World Cup? Not really. Not really. I'm not surprised. No, I'm not surprised because he's obviously a quality bowler and the conditions in the UAE suit his bowling. So on that basis alone, then he should be in the side. Simple as that. And it's actually a welcoming thing they've done. They're playing players horses for courses. Playing horses for courses. No, they've done well. Oh my God. Yes, exactly. This match will maybe cancelled. If players are all positive, it won't be cancelled. It'll be a massive anyway. At this point, we've only had the one extra play. There's been nothing certain, it's said. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, the South African squad. Are you going to screen the 2 World Cups? Yes, of course. What are the rules of any? Well, because the game hasn't started yet, they can still throw a whole new team in there, can't they? Yeah, good question. Just aren't enough quality leg spinners around. Then second King, thank you, Himanshu. Do that. You're making comment on my program all the time about these other programs. Well, do the same to other programs. Let them know. He batted great. I'm just giving a great fact. Yeah. How to deal with failures in life. Well, I mean, your life's only started. Anything that you call a failure at the age of 20 is nothing. It could be the most beneficial thing you've ever experienced. If you make failures at a young age, you've got a whole life ahead of you to get better. So, no issue. Yeah, I can't imagine it being the case. I think it's pretty certain I won't be happy with it. Match call, obviously, any will be. I will be there, part of the Parent City. That one. No problems at all. Did you guys watch my other videos? Have you watched the announcement video? Have you watched the media conferences and the enormous impact of Kohli on India that I put together? There's quite a few videos out there, guys. Every day, as a matter of fact. Would have liked there to be more guests on stage, but it will be okay. Surprised about Uzi Chahal's solution. Well, if you look at him performance-wise and the way he has played, he hasn't bowled that well. South Africa T20 World Cup squad is not at big nose. That's right. Two places, Chris Morris, Imran Tahir. They're all, but Chris Morris was the most well-paid IPL player only recently, and Du Plessis as well, and Imran Tahir. They made some pretty big blunders there. Okay, what sources, Pawan Kumar? What sources are you talking about? Why would Sky go ahead of Vihari and Agarwal? I don't agree. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. If it does, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just from what I'm gathering up. Okay, you were talking about the IPL. Okay. Have you heard about a possible conflict of interest complaint against opponent's appointment of Jamie as a mentor? No. Why would it be a conflict of interest? Yeah, well, when he's not far away. He's not far away. I like your work. Thank you. MS Daly, to mention all your thoughts. Brilliant. On Carb Bustle. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Masterstroke. If he's able to be there at times when they need to know how to win, then you couldn't get a better person to know how to win in those circumstances. Hence, he's the right person to pick. No doubt. Yeah, Avery de Villiers is another player that should have been. I think he wanted to play. Jasper Bumrah slightly to replace Shepard. I mean, could happen. I just don't know whether Bumrah wants to play. Feeling impressed and motivated. Can't decide what to do next. Unable to take right decisions, how to move forward in life. Just take one day at a time and look forward to the day. Whatever the day brings, look forward to it, because there's another day after it which you can look forward to, and another day after that you can look forward to. Sky will be the X factor in T20 World Cup for India, I think. Yeah, I think he will be. That's where his concentration will be. Do I still to find how good a captain you are? No, not necessarily. Byron have you heard about that, Norm? I believe there's something in the wind. They ICC almost have to find you, but they can make you. Then we'll not be in conflict of interest because of that. Okay. Is a mental thing the indication of Mr. Stoney's new era? As what role he'll take on? Not really. I mean, they used Steve Waugh and Ponting. Winning captains around young players are a great thing. They're mentors. They sit back and they come in only where needed. They're not relied upon. They're not the mainline discussion. But when the player's thinking, I'm not feeling like I'm winning today, they'll come in and say, well, this is how you need to feel. This is how you need to be. This is how I do it. And obviously, because they want, yeah, okay, yeah, it's this. Well, Timo Shah's in the squad. He's a reserve. He's not the team, so it just seems that he didn't quite get there across the line, as did Thakur. No, I don't think Hardik Pandya was a good selection. I think they should have went with Thakur because Pandya just can't yet prove his bowling to me. He's still not. He's back. Still not 100%. he bowls in very controlled circumstances. Yeah, he has, but I think he wanted to play just like James Anderson did. Are you satisfied with England? Yeah, I think they're still a good side. I mean, the World Cup side is very good. Yes, he will still be classified as great if he doesn't win a World Cup. Why? Because he's been a great Test captain. Yeah, they are reading a bit too much into it. It's just positive. It's just a positive vibe around the thing. Be happy about it. Well, 150 million for Kohli's is huge, isn't it? Well, Stoinis and Inglis are there now with Maxwell. There'll be support, yes. Chill with the mentor thing. Okay. If tomorrow's match doesn't happen, then one match will be held later, I guess, next year, or will this be turned into a 4 match? It'll say 4 matches, I'm afraid. Why would you just have? We don't want to have lingering matches. The IPL was a lingering thing, and it's not good, I don't think. G-Pack is the best bowler on the power play to come up if you don't play him. True. I am monetised, yes. Yeah, so Ashwin's still in the UAE. He's a great person. Hi, I'm Uraj. Hello, Luxbun. Dhoni's inclusion will help you handle pressure. Of course it will. Exactly. Yeah, the West Indies certainly can defend the title. Big days. Nobody's talking about them at all. They're very happy about that. They'll be very, very happy indeed about that. Trust me, they'll be very, very happy indeed. No, there's nothing wrong with them at all. West Indies are a huge chance. They might fly well under the radar and knock them all off. They've certainly got enough good players in their squad. No. Not round prime, no. Jai does not play. The Bumrah has to bowl. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Yes, Himanshu, okay. If postponed, now it won't be postponed to any other time. If it's not played, it's not played. Calling Michael Vaughan, if India didn't win the series, he'll count it as big as it's wrong. Okay. Well, it's true. They're going to win it, though. They're an excellent T20 team. I will try. Absolutely. That's very strong. Sri Lankan, the West Indies played Russell, Pollard, Lewis, Bourne. It'll be interesting to see when he's choosing. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think, have they repicked? Okay. Too many cooks spoil the broth. 4 power centres. No. MSA's not coming there as a power centre. He's there to help. Don't worry, Harsh. We'll meet one day. We want Chahal and Darwin. Shikhar Dhawan is the one that I'm a bit disappointed about. Does the squad look like a World Cup winning side? Absolutely. Both England and India's squads are World Cup winning squads, along with the West Indies. Pakistan and New Zealand are the 4th equal choice. The rest, South Africa, Australia, bloody Bangladesh, you don't know. Sri Lanka, they're all not going to have a hat. Whereas the squad of they're going to wait. Sanjay Manreka are twin brothers, but by minors, they're almost all statements are controversial. Okay. According to Michael Vaughan, if India didn't win the series, okay. How many fast bowlers will play? It's interesting. They'll probably go more pace than spin. Probably would be arguable. Have to play the 5th test. If you can't postpone it, it's just not going to. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's going to happen, guys. I think you're all worrying too much about Whether it's going to happen or not, it's going to happen. Okay. Well, the way he played, Chahal played in the IPL, he didn't play that well, and they were pretty disappointed with his form. And they probably stacked it all up and said, no. And a lot of the other Indian players have played very well, and they have to start to, give and take. They can't continue to have players playing if they're not playing well. Put it that way. Level 14. There's been a Josh Butler media conference occur, guys. I'll be posting it up now. So it's been released. Asar Jabal, have you put your subscription through? Let's have a look. Who in the fits is clearly it's going to be India, in my opinion. I don't want to say it's clear, but so Josh Butler's made his way back into the squad, and he'll shed some light with a few changes, I'm sure. I'll upgrade that now. Keep up the hard work, Norman. The subscriber is gradually increasing day by day. You'll be a successful dream one day. Thank you. Who'll win the World Cup? India, England, West Indies. Fourth, we're not sure. I think the one thing this current Indian leadership is zero ego. They're all focused on winning. Absolutely true. I would argue that the Australian side needs to have a good look at that, especially Warner and the like. Jesus. Is Gale going to play the T20? Absolutely he is. Absolutely he is. With great certainty is he playing. And again, experience counts with him. So I'm just uploading the media conference with Josh Butler. The double C Butler. It is. So Josh Butler's the one that's just come up. So guys, keep asking questions. I'll be with you in a second. I just want to just upload this. It takes me a second to upload these things, guys. You upload it by just typing away, and it's a bit of organisation, but you get there. You know what I'm doing, guys? I'm uploading the press conference that's just taken place with Josh Butler. Which no one seems to get to know about. Okay. Fifth test. Okay. Josh Butler, courtesy VCB. So I get it and I then copy it, and then I just start to upload. There's a bit of work that I have to do here, guys. Just have a look here. You upload it by placing certain place hashtags. You know about the hashtag scenario, guys? You have England versus India as one of the hashtags. You have England versus India. You have Team India, and you have Josh Butler. Takes a bit of work, guys. Then you have to work out what actual broadcast this is. This will be the, what I'm about to upload is the 727th video, and 478 were in fact recorded with 249 live. So this is the 249 live. I've done quite a few lately, actually. So once I do that, then I bring up the England versus that, and then you add Bob's Your Uncle, and off we go. Uploaded it is. All right. So, Ruban Loganathan, Puranjay Sachdeva. You don't decide BC because of have rules and follow the postpone. Yeah, exactly. Whereas Java, hopefully never to be seen again, really. Which team do the support? Do I support in the IPL? I support KKR, but Delhi Capital should win, and Mumbai Indians will be the one up behind. Keep good work. Then it's great. Varun Chakravarthy deserving. Well, it sounds like a lot of people supported him, so you have to think Chakravarthy's made his play. We'll see how important he is to the side now. Have to wait and see, won't we? So Butler returns after his wife returns after birth of child. There you go. All right. He would have got thousands of dollars to spend. He would have been in a lot of trouble. He would have been banned from every ground. Hello, Sunil. Okay. South Australia is the most weird squad it is. It doesn't make sense. Hi, Corin. Okay. There is going to be a barbecue. We know that. Mr. Raj, okay. You mean Varun plays better than Izzy? Well, it looks as though he does. One more Indian. Yep, we heard that. Yes, I am. I'll be doing one tomorrow morning for sure. Pre-match show tomorrow. So you monetize it. It'll be good to see you. Computers all seem to be very slow today. I don't know about you. I'm having all sorts of problems with my computer. Okay. Off we go. Another video bites the dust. Okay. Up on India first test versus South Africa schedules out. December 17th, Joburg's Boxing Day. Okay, this is the Indian test series. Okay. At December 17th, Joburg, Boxing Day, Centurion, third test, Johannesburg. Very similar to the Sydney test, Melbourne test scenarios. Tell us about India versus England squad and much more about to follow. Well, Puranjay Shalini, we've been talking about this for the last hour and 53 minutes. Haven't you been watching? The Indian and England squads will be very much the same as they are for the World Cup. Well, I'll mention them again to you, but the reality is you've got let me have a look. You've got Kohli, Sharma, Rahul, great batting. Sky's in there. Ishan Kishan, Rishabh Pant, very, very good. Jadeja, Chahar, Bumrah, Bhuvi, Akshar Patel, Mohammad Shami, and Chakravarthy and Ashwin. Great squad. Hardik Pandya is anyone that's a bit doubtful for me. I would have put Shardul Thakur in front of him. And Deepak Chahar is disappointing to not get a go. But Shreyas Iyer, he was injured for quite a while. So I'm not sure what's right or wrong there because he's not really up there at this point with his fitness. Well, his match play time has been very limited, so you'd have to wonder whether he's up for it. What happened there? Okay. All right, guys, we're getting like Michael Vaughan do silly things and purposely. Yeah, of course, yeah. I've got COVID score in the impact. It's still that one extra player, but no players have been included, so it's pretty safe at this point. Tomorrow's testing will be crucial. What if India's be doing great fifth test? Yeah, Ronaldo playing next door. That's right, Old Trafford, and then Ronaldo. It's going to be great. Do you think Mumbai Indians could be a force to contend with the World Cup as a team? Well, it could be, because teamwork really is a key to it all, isn't it? It's not just who you got; it's also the teamwork. You're right. It's a pretty big thing, actually. Okay. Karaka. Why does South Africa have to select only one spinner? Oh, it's a disastrous squad. They picked Maharaj, who hasn't played any T20 international experience. Well, they want to come back in IPL and international. Well, he's playing in the IPL, I believe. He's in the squad at least for Sunrise Hyderabad, and he's certainly in the World Cup. Only 4 days gap with first and second test in South Africa. Yeah. Oh, well, happens a lot. Oh, Luxman said, we'll wait and see. He hasn't been underperforming. Can't knock him. Reached 100 videos for the series so far, which is pretty good. Need one more subscriber to make 19,600. Come on, one of you guys out there who haven't subscribed, subscribe, please. South Africa T20 World Cup squad is not added. Two places, Chris Morris, Tahir, some mistakes there. I would have had all three of those guys. Is the England press conference still happening? Well, I've uploaded it. Josh Butler's it's been uploaded. Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah, Ashwin's selection wasn't out of the blue. Virat Kohli in his press conference made it very clear that Sunder's not having a great form. And I think one day we'll consider. Yeah, I think then. Well, Washington Sundar is actually injured, isn't he? He's got an injury which he was taken out of the Test squad, wasn't he? He and Gill both out, and therefore that's why Prithvi Shaw and Sky came in. In fact, 3-1. 3-1 is the victory. Okay. Let me stop down a few things here, guys. So, I think one more to make 9. If India doing great, so we need 401 subscribers to reach 20,000. Getting closer and closer and closer, guys. And I'm hoping maybe throughout the test we find those are the 400 subscribers. So to find those are the 400 subscribers, it's up to you guys to help me. Get your friends and family, one of them and your family and friends, to just 1 or 2 to subscribe and join us, and we're on our way. We're on our way big time. There's a lot to be said about the Josh Butler. Josh Butler's he's obviously he's probably a future captain. Gupta, if you care about people's opinion, then no one's bigger than Phil than you. Who are people? Why the hell? It's important up front for people to talk their problems out. What are you talking about? So there's 80 people watching, but there's 24 people chatting in here. It's a great point. I don't know what's going. I think there's a mistake there, actually. If India are going great, it's going to be very loud. You know, it will be loud in Old Trafford. It'll be loud across the road in the Manchester United Stadium. Great spectacle. Imagine Cristiano Ronaldo. What a man. What about this time? My live stream tomorrow will be, if the game starts at 8 p.m., which is 11 a.m., 8 p.m. my time is 11 a.m. England time, which is in fact 3:30 Indian time. I'll start at 1:30 Indian time, which is 6 my time. All right, 1:30 p.m. Indian time. I will start. You have to make comments, guys, to all the posts as well. Had Java thing happened in Australia, it would have been a huge mother of a fine. He would have been banned from every stadium after the first go and would have been watched like a hawk and would possibly have been given more than a fine, like jail time. Maybe. If those cuts didn't happen, maybe. Yeah, okay. India selected 5 spinners because India have all test matches in Dubai, which is a big boundary stadium, and after IPL decline. It's true, the boundaries are big, the pitches are more spin friendly, the way that Pakistan picked their sides for that ground, all very much show a distinct ground that favours the spinners. No doubt at all. All right. It's expecting more of you to ask questions than you are. Actually. Yes, Sundar's injured, and when it is now Sundar won't play in the IPL, it will be very clear Ashwin will be in the test. Yep, exactly. I mean, what time do you sleep? I sleep after this. I'll be sleeping like a baby for most of the night. Don't worry. Ronaldo won't play on Thursday, as per reports, maybe on Tuesday because of quarantine issues. Okay, Arpan, that's interesting. I didn't know anything about that. That's something that we've got to learn. So 6 p.m. time as well. What? 6 p.m. time where? Tomorrow it'll be 11 a.m. England, which is 8 p.m. Australia, which is actually 3:30 p.m. India, the time of the test match starting. So 1:30 p.m. is when I will start my broadcast Indian time. That's how it works. Okay. India or West Indies out of these two. You'd have to say India. But I'll tell you what, the West Indies know how to win World Cups. We know that. Both men's and women's actually too. They both do it. Both codes do it. Just by clearly saying spin will play its good part on the ultra. Okay. It does look more and more like Ashwin might play with Jadeja, and they'll have Leach playing with Moeen Ali. I think you'll find that both England and India will probably both play 2 spinners. That's what I'm saying. Ashwin will come into the side. Hopefully Tucker stays in the side. I hope he doesn't get taken out. To be honest, I don't want him to come out. That would be a bit of a disappointment. Is there one person out there in the people that are watching that hasn't subscribed? One person. Please add your subscription. Upon, I know you have 2 bus parks at Parlour, one up with Varun. Of course. Very happy to see MSD is back in the first time as mentored. Also, Sky and Ishana are both there. Is ready to play the first T20 World Cup. Slightly surprised that Chahal and Gaba are not there. I'm not surprised at Chahal at all. He didn't play well. And, they've got to pick a side that's in form. Okay. Have you looked later on your Instagram? No. Do you agree India has the best T20 World Cup? Yes, definitely. Yeah, so guys, can you share? Can everyone who's online now get this, go back to your YouTube channel, hit the share button on this particular session and send it to your Instagram, to your Facebook, to whatever. That would be fantastic for me. Or even to your WhatsApp groups. That's showing, that's what I like you to do, is to show me appreciation by doing something like that. That's all you need to do. All right. Okay. He's practicing with the team, so I think Ronaldo will play on Saturday. Or maybe it's good to see England. Why lost home? I don't know. It's a great Kasun Madhushankar Virasingh. I don't know why. RCB, okay, RCB. Okay. I feel even if Stokes would have been there, not much difference. No, I think Ben Stokes would have made a huge, huge, huge difference. You can share through Facebook. You can share through. You can share Instagram somewhat. You can take a snapshot, screenshot, and say, follow this, and show them what the name of it is. And they can come and find it that way through their, their Google account. University England series, well, by 2-1, I think it's going to be 3-1. Well, thank you, guys. Someone has subscribed. We've reached 9,600, which is great. So we've hit another level now. We're going to be down around 400 to go. That's a great. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that greatly. So you can share through it. You can share. You can also connect to my Instagram and my things as well. Addiction Anand said that without Stokes and Archer, there's nothing to be said good about this team. Is this Observer, Nikhil, is this my full-time gig? Well, I'm actually retired from my full-time employment, and I've got a retirement situation. I'm still a major journalist is what I do, and YouTube is something I'm doing a lot of late, the last 6 to 12 months, yes. Stokes is England's backbone, so Ben Stokes is phenomenally important, guys, phenomenally important. That's a good point. If you say like, it's good. That's a good way to do it. It'll make you like the posts, correct? But it's also important to physically share it and suggest to someone, hey, have you seen this? Have a look at this. That's what I would do. Observer Nicole, I was working for the federal government in Australia for 36 years. I was a public servant. I was a presenter, and I had that role for a long time. I was also involved with the Olympics. I was the language services manager during the Sydney Olympic Games, in charge of languages to the main venue, which was the Olympic Stadium itself, as long as the Superdome, which where basketball and gymnastics was. I had a great role. I really, really enjoyed that. I've lived in Germany, where I was taught everything from English right through to business in Germany, in companies like BMW and Deutsche Bank. And then I went to live in Brazil at one stage too, and I lived in Sri Lanka on and off. Yeah, I've been all over the world. Amarish thing, I really, really appreciate this comment. That's really important to me. I can't find you on Insta. Puran Jason, have a look. You can't find me. There it is there, at Norm Koch. At Norm Koch, Normkoch. I can't find you. Go to here. At Norm Koch, Normkoch, is my Instagram and my Twitter handle. Once England have developed the batting department, they can win matches. Well, yeah, that's it. Look, they're going to be. England should not be discounted for the IPL. Jason Roy, massively important player. He's come in. Owen Morgan's there as well, very important player. They've got a lot of potential there. A lot of potential guys going. A lot of potential that we're not acknowledging. I'll tell you that now. So Hamid, in the thumbnail that I have for this, you've got Josh Butler, who's obviously been returned after his wife gave birth. Very quickly, actually, I didn't muck around with him. I thought he would have been out for the rest of the series and may actually not even play in the Ashes. Then you got both Rahul and Sharma there, who both have been batting and have been brilliant. Then Hamid with Rory Burns. They got a 100-run partnership. They didn't do badly. But the rest of the team got a mere, my God, 110. Very sad. All right. One thing I have developed about, I thought I mentioned that already, your commitment to the game is phenomenal. Thank you. How many languages do you know? Well, I speak German fluently. Lived in Germany for 5 years, so I hope I learned fluently. Brazilian Portuguese, I was pretty good earlier on. I'm still good enough. Comes back to me quite quickly. Sinhalese, I know a lot of words. I understand a lot, having been married to a Sri Lankan lady from 2001 until 2014-15. Reached the divorce in 16. Yeah. I speak English too. I must just quietly add that in there as well. I feel even if Stokes would have, now if you thought that was a 4-up punt, I think that he would have made a lot of difference. Basically, saying most disappointing thing about the India squad selection for World Cup, according to me. Most exciting thing is MS Dhoni, the inclusion of Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Ishan Kishan with probably they didn't have Samson there. I think he may have been a loss. And Chahal's form wasn't good enough, so that's the disappointment there. Siraj, maybe, but no, I think it's okay with that, Siraj. I think you got Bhuvi. Bhuvi's a major inclusion. Once anyone have developed the batting department, they can win matches. Well, we've talked about that already. I think you're right. Okay, it's Luka Modric birthday today. He won the balloon deal between Messi and Ronaldo winning streak. Okay, I don't know much about that. Don't know much about that. And when they are saying that the match may not go ahead as there's fresh new COVID case in the Indian coaching staff, check quick info. Well, I'm going to check it, but I don't think there's been anything. All that means is they'll be testing the players, and the players are okay, then that matters then no longer an issue. Okay, so that's probably more important. So check that now. They're talking about they should have replaced Siraj with Ashwin. Poor Siraj got 8 wickets against Lords, and he won. Virtually was one of the ones that won the match for them, and they used to drop him. That's a bit quick. So what I'm looking up quick info. Is that what I'm looking up? Manchester testing down at the COVID positive case. Okay, it's a bit alarmist. It's selling their their press. They've got to sell it by saying Manchester test. I don't know. I think that's a bit of a it's a little bit alarmist. Sorry guys, it's a bit alarmist to be saying that. I think it's a little bit alarmist. I'm gonna upload it though, but I think it's a bit alarmist. You're not asking me questions, guys. Is it Norm Koch with 1,225? Yeah, I think that's me. Yep, Norm Koch, that's it. No, Norm Koch, Koch. Norm Koch. Not cock. Poor and Jay, you've just started following. I can see that. So difference in the series has been India batsmen finding form and time while keeping bowling intensity. England seem to have stagnated or gotten worse as the series goes on. I think that's a very good point. I would agree that's a very, very good point. I think it's also the fact that India have just outplayed them. They've come back and beaten them. Pun is speaking some German there. Sehr gut, very good, genau. And then you would also understand lots of Sanskrit words too. Yes, I do, because of Sinhalese, yeah. Very Sanskrit-based, correct. Is there any chance of happening of a match tomorrow? Of course there is. It's far from not on. It's more likely on than off, put it that way. Because the players' exposure to COVID is kept within them, and as long as if they're negative, that's it. That's it. They're negative, then that's it. Okay. We're getting there, guys. The case is about physio only. Please read carefully, Uncle Sam. So yeah, I mean, is there any chance? Yeah, it will be. So physio of Indian team probably Indian team have cancelled their practice session. Doesn't mean anything. Quick info say that Turk managed to because I've read that, but he's handling an all-player in his role at Jadeja. Yeah, look, when they actually do their job, they wear gloves, they wear masks, very controlled circumstances. It's not as bad as you might think. Exactly. What would happen if series was called off? Fifth test does not make a place willing to declare winners. Of course they will. It'll be 2-1 up. It'll be a 4-match series with a match abandoned or drawn, or whatever the term would be for it. And that's it. When do I finish? I'll be finishing in the next 20 minutes, I think, guys. The live stream will finish in about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Okay. Just giving everybody a chance to ask questions. So everybody is vaccinated. Let the results come. Don't jump the gun. Yeah, exactly. It's 11. Pur and Jason G. That's right. It is 11:45 here. I'm going to go to at least midnight. Okay. Kazun Madhushankar Veerasinghe. Sounds very Sri Lankan. All I saw was Joe Root and the other batsman who batted really well, and they virtually didn't pass. You mean not Milan? You mean what? Pope in the first? Okay. Dave Sharp, any weather updates? Again, we got that from David Graven earlier. He made it pretty clear that the weather's not as bad as they first anticipated. It looks like there'll be a lot of dry conditions, which will suit spinners. So I'm now making a bit of a judgment call. I didn't think Ashwin was in the side, but I think they're going to put probably both Jack Leach and Ashwin into the respective sides to support Moeen Ali and Jadeja. That's my opinion. And Thakur, well, he should be left in. I'd say Siraj may be out, and Sharmi might come in for. Well, it's interesting who Sharmi will come in for. Whether Bumrah will get rested or not, I think Bumrah shouldn't be rested. If he's fit, he shouldn't be rested. It's as simple as that. Okay. So all I saw was okay. We'll talk about it. It's 80% rain for the first 3 days. That's Pur Jason. Are you now Dave Sharp? Okay, looking forward to tomorrow's match. Think will be a draw. But what if given a couple of days cricket Kohli, that's the last monkey of his back scores, it will be fantastic. You're right. It'll be absolutely magnificent. That'll be a great crescendo to this. If he gets to score a century. No, I totally agree. Leach and Moeen is not at the quality of Jadeja and Ashwin together, especially together. The key to Ashwin and Jadeja is when they bowl together. That's the key. I'll keep you updated tomorrow about 1:30 p.m. IST about the weather. Is that what she's going to keep us updated on JCG, or about the COVID cases? What? Should Kandawal, it says Dad isn't in the World Cup squad. Why? Who is Dad? Who's Dad now? Is your dad? Shubman Gill? Is that who's Dad? Please answer me that question. Michael Vaughan just said too, they don't worry about the match. Will go on seamlessly. Yeah. If Root brings back Butler and Leach, then Vera brings Ashwin. Agree. Puranjay Sajiva, I would agree with that. I don't know where there's such a rule. Okay. Yeah. Just another 10 minutes, guys. Okay. Okay, so similar. Okay. And keeps and Shuttle. Shuttle Tucker has to be kept, and he was brilliant from all aspects of the way he has played. It's been absolutely enlightening to watch him in the squad. And hats off to him. He's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah, a lot of people putting money on West Indies to win, actually. It's quite interesting. Quite interesting indeed. Yeah, it is a fairy tale ending for Kohli to score a century. Wouldn't that be nice to see that? At least the Indian players should support him in that endeavour, challenge him. So let's see you do that. That's what I reckon they should do. Okay. India lower order, Fleet's back, Ashwin Jadeja, Umesh Sharma, Sharma Bumrah. Okay. So you're taking out Siraj and you're putting in Sharmi, but you're taking out one other player. Who else? I wonder how many bowlers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. And no, because you've got Kohli, sorry, Robert Sharma, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane. That's 5. Okay. And Punt, 6. Then you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 6, 3. You've got what? Varun Chakravarthy, you've got one too many players there. Ashwin and Jadeja will make 7 and 8. They have to get 3 bowlers, not 4. So Umesh, Shardul, I think will both stay. Sharmi will come in, and it may well be Bumrah having a break. But that's all I can suggest, because one of those players have to be taken out. All right. That's what we're going to say at this point. I'll leave at midnight. Thank you, Purunjay. What do you become a pumpkin, do you, Purunjay, at midnight? I'll be leaving shortly too, guys. Abhishek, yes, teams have to give their squads in advance. That's why England and South Africa announced their squads today, too. And I think last date is the 10th of September, which is only tomorrow. I think Australia's announced it. I think Sri Lanka's probably one of the ones that has. I'm not sure. What if Rahane gets 100? Yeah, why not? Why can't he get 100? Yes, Siraj is out. Purunjay, it looks like he is. Not because he's not playing well enough. He maybe didn't weakest in the last match. It's pretty tough on him to be already bagging him. He's great. Got 8 wickets a couple of tests ago. 8 wickets. Fantastic performance. So 191, 426. That's 5, 6, 17. 9, 17. It is 936. It is wrong. All right. Yes, right. So Purunjay Shadiva is making a comment to say that, yes, Siraj is out. And that seems to be pretty adamant in your opinion. Okay. James Anderson did not bowl relatively well in the first and second innings, but in the fourth innings. Yeah, he's still a champion player. He's the 3rd highest wicket taker of all time, most for a fast bowler. So Dave Sharp, the weather looks okay, raining in Liverpool, not Manchester. Well, it's not very far away, is it? Okay. Number 6 batsmen and 5 bowlers. Okay. So again, let's go through the Indian team. Rohit Sharma, Rahul, Pujara, if he's fit. Kohli, Rahane at this stage looks like he's in. Then Punt, Jadeja. So it's 2, 3, 4. Punt. Jadeja 7. If Ashwin comes in as 8, Sharmi 9, Umesh 10. It's going to be between Bumrah or Thakur as the 11th player, and that's where the decision making process is to take. It's going to be hard. I mean, looks like well, they may even leave out. They may even leave out Sharmi. We just don't know. He may not be really put in. We'll meet tomorrow. Puranjay Sanjeeva, thank you very much. We'll have a scroll tomorrow. Breaking news tomorrow. Much called off. No one. Who that's a joke? I think that's more of a joke. How is the weather looking? So, cool, Datu. Yeah, you're back. Thank God you're here. I'm glad you're here. The weather at this point, we're getting comments that the weather is not as bad as first thought. Then it'll be dry, probably suit spinners, and therefore we'll have a full test match. We'll only play in India's hands. Okay. Rohit and Rahul getting 105th test, followed by Shardul getting 50. But Shardul, they're all getting 50. Up on why not? I think it will be a double fair. Why not? Why can't it be? Why can't they have a situation which they've never expected before? Why not? Let's have it. And even Kohli, for that instance, Spirit's 50 as well. Yeah, that's very significant, guys. Here's all for us out of Nick. Who? Kohli? No, he's not. It could be Anderson's last match, I think. Well, if it is, it's a bit of a shock. Please show us our James Anderson souvenir you have. Signed it, shirt, or an event bite. I've got it right in front of me here, but I've got something back there. Yes, Cyril Gula has said tomorrow's match is doubtful as the Indian physio has tested positive. He's actually stated the word doubtful. I don't think that sounds very strong if he says doubtful. Okay. Buckle data. I like your comments. What do you think they can try proactively do to minimise the effects of weather? Like convert this to a pink ball test? No, they can't do that, Buckle data. It's too dramatic a change. You can't just do that. And why would you want to do that? What difference does that make, other than make the test finish early? Is that what you're trying to say? Robert, okay, looks pretty good. When do people? It won't be in the next series. There's a valid statement that teams can play through the night and keep up the schedule. Play 24 hours a day? Oh God! Man, there's television rights as well. They just can't do that so readily. There's a lot of issues around what you're subscribing. Okay, when you're watching the computer screen frequently, why I'm watching? Because I'm trying to look at any updates on the ESPN broadcast, any other updates. Like there could be media releases coming out, things which can impact upon the discussion, and people's discussions are important. That's why I'm looking at the screen. Because of COVID breakout, tomorrow's match is not sure. We've talked about that. No big news from cricket info. Good. What did you say couldn't make up about the Jimmy Super? I have Jimmy. I've got a ball somewhere. I think I'm pretty sure I've got a cricket ball that was given to me. We'll get to know tomorrow at 3 p.m. Exactly. We'll get to know a lot at that time. We'll get to know a lot about the team structure. 3 o'clock being half an hour before the broadcast. It'll be toss, teams, tantrums, as I always say. Toss, and the teams will be announced, then the tantrums. And there'll be tantrums from our supporters. Match dates in 20 hours. Match starts in 20 hours. Okay, it does. Is it 20 hours? It is 20 hours. It is 20 hours. I feel sorry for Rahane. There's so much pressure being placed on Rahane. It's just not funny. The poor guy keeps getting landed with all this discussion. Have we lost? I think we lost Pranjaya. 342. 342 and 426 is 768. 868, 869, 959. Okay, 959. Okay. All right. There are no day nighters in England because it can really get cold. It's probably, Amaris is probably exactly the right. What you've said is probably right on, actually. It probably is exactly that. But no, okay. I'm still here. Okay, about to leave. I thought you were going to leave. Well, just wait a few minutes. I'm still waiting on. There's some breaking news about to come out. I'm hearing about this whole COVID disaster. There might be something coming out, guys. I just don't know. I'm waiting on some tests that are coming through, and that's the big one. In 5 minutes, okay. I'll give it 5 minutes. Just wait and see when this news comes through. If it meets the expectations that I'm expecting it to. Because they're just giving me a bit of an indication something's just coming through, guys. Just wait and see. Guess what? Rahane is not getting dropped tomorrow. Freddie Thomas. Good on you. I'm glad Freddie Thomas has joined us. Freddie Thomas has been on before. England also don't have good flights to get a day, night, and place. Well, they do on some great laws, they certainly. That's just in doubt. It's very clear now. Yeah, I think there's some big news about to brew, guys. Aussies to host both tests against India. What, in the future? Okay. Well, if one of you guys haven't subscribed yet, I want to kick you. A lot of discussion about Sky. Is Sky getting in? Is Sky getting in? Is Sky getting in? Well, at this point, he's not. Okay? Not looking likely. Jimmy and Virat have been so friendly after the Lord's test. You see visuals of them smiling. Maybe he's been so friendly because he knows his last match. No, I don't know. They're tough as nails on the field. We know that. That's the way they play. You got to take your head off to them. They play hard, very, 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 very hard. Very hard indeed. Could you show that souvenir tomorrow? No, bitter as in please. Yes, I will. Natürlich können wir das machen, aber kannst du ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen? Warriors tests, remember, Manchester test cancelled. Anil Prasad, where did you hear that? Don't say that with such defiance unless you've heard it. I'm going to have to find out if there's any truth to that. There are rumours coming around. Most of them from this bloody... I'll find out. All right, let me just get this. I'm going to ring up my learned friend Debashis and find out what's going on. India, okay. Players went to fresh testing today again and waiting for the results now. That's what they're waiting on. That's what we're about to find. Yes, Sandy, just relax. Yeah, ECB media has been fantastic, actually. I'm interviewing a man on Sunday who has written the book on domination that they put out. It's a brilliant book, and it's very, very significant. Nobody answered the phone. Let me just get the name of that person, not Raul Macon. Kushan Sarkar. He has put together a book, and something domination, obviously. Do. Have you mission? Well done. Mission domination. That's exactly right. It's the book that was put out by Kushan Sakar and Burim Majunda. I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be actually interviewing. Oh no, Sunday transfer. You're in Sri Lanka. Ja, ich kann Deutsch sprechen. Sehr gut, Apan. Sehr, 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 sehr gut. Ich bin überrascht. Okay. Apan, verstehst du means what? What does verstehst du mean? And überrascht. 2 words. Verstehst du, which is 2 words actually. Verstehst du and überrascht. Apan, quickly, tell me what those words mean. Don't think we're at management thinking of too much of actually other than well, they should be focusing on it. Did I watch Money Heist? No, I didn't watch Money Heist. All right. If the test result will come out in the night time, so no way you're getting to know anything right now. But there was something on my mission nomination, very good. If it gets called off, it will be announced tomorrow if it takes time to get the results. RT-PCR, okay. Indian Tour of Australia. It is a very good book. I'll be finishing up very soon, guys. The COVID breakout happened only after Ravi Shastri's book launch event. It's true. It seems to be that's the major pivotal event. That was just stupid. I'm sorry, it was stupid. I shouldn't have had that. Almost 20K, mate. Yeah, I've got 9,600 now. Hopefully in the next 4 or 5 days we can pick up that extra 400. Norman, your thoughts about economic crisis in Sri Lanka? Yeah, it's very bad actually, guys. They've had economic problems anyway, but they're based on their exports and imports, and both have come to a halt. So their manufacturing industry, their export industry, their agriculture industry, and their tourism industry have all gone through the floor, hence the situation they're in. It's for heavy costs. Now, Anil Prasant, where are you getting that from? We're not getting anything but heavy rain. We were told some time ago that prediction was there, but not now. So don't make that accusation unless you have some sort of proof of what you're talking about. Pull up the weather map and show me. Very, very close, guys. All right. Yes, it was stupid audience. I know just basic conversational German, hello, hi, etc. Not so thought like you, for sure. What do they mean, by the way? Verstehst du? Verstehen means understand. Do you understand? Verstehst du is basically you. And understand you. Verstehst du? Verstehen, Verstehen, verstehen. Verstehst, St, du means do you understand? In other words, überrascht means shocked or surprised. Überrascht. Uber's car. Uber's like a large amount over the top. Okay. Ravi Ratha's got Indian 5th Test team. Rohit, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Sky, Pantner. Sky and Rahane. A lot of people saying that. I'd be shocked if it happens. Ashwin, Shadul, Umesh, Shami, Bumrah. That looks like the side except for Sky. So punt. Ashwin's in there. Jadeja's out, you're saying. Interesting. But what David Gravney said earlier, which made a little sense, he's been put in there to scuff the ball so they can get a reverse swing happening to suit the likes of Bumrah. So on that basis, that may be the only change I can see to that. Check BBC weather, mate. Why am I checking? But I'm on air. I can't check BBC while I'm talking to you. Well, match happen tomorrow night. At this stage, Rama ready, Kavuri, it's happening. All right. We're about to finish up, guys. Rama Reddy Kavuri, have you subscribed? I'm going to have a look now. Rama Reddy Kavuri, have you subscribed? Überrascht, I hope it's spelled Überrascht. It's pretty close. It's not right, but it's pretty close. Any new? What? Punjay Sajiva, you're supposed to leave 10 minutes ago. Yes, exactly. COVID just acted as a catalyst in Sri Lanka economy by hitting tourism. A country where tourism was important. They're in, like Bali. Bali overwhelmingly was relied on tourism. completely and utterly stopped. Horrifically stopped. Very sad state of affairs, actually. And Jadeja has a knee issue. How long maybe with the rest of him? So Jadeja's got a knee injury. Well, he had an injury before he was taken on the field. You're right. So Varun Chakravarthy, yeah, you can leave now. I'm just about to leave myself. So yes, I think I'm just about to leave today. I'm just going to have my last little look here, and if nothing important comes through, I'm going to have to call it quits, guys. All right, we'll match up tomorrow. Rama, at this stage, it's a yes. Okay. All right, guys. I am going to finish up now. I've just about had enough. Not of you guys. I've ramped with you guys. So all the best. So don't forget to any news. No, there's no news. Okay. Stop. Sorry. So at Norm Koch is my Twitter and my Instagram handle. My YouTube channel is Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. I want you to subscribe to that. Hit the like, view, like, and share. Subscribe, notification button. WhatsApp friends, colleagues, YouTube friends, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Messenger, everything. Word of mouth. Terrible news. What's terrible news? Sri Lanka went 100% organic produced copper. Read to you. I'm on it. You're on what? By the way, what's your take on the long-going struggle for pitch credits between Adam and such? Oh, I don't think there's pitch credits. I mean, as in what pitch? No, I don't know. That's really an issue. If you know about it, I don't know much about it. I have subs and like and share. Good on you. All right, guys, that's it. Okay. Talk to you tomorrow at 6 p.m. my time, which is 1:30 Indian time, which is 9 a.m. this morning England time. All the best, guys. Ciao, ciao.